Oh, hey guys. So Lawrence, he had to step away for a little bit. He's got a case of the grumble dust. So he asked me to kind of watch over a stream. He put me in charge of y'all. He said to me, "Oh, Moss Man, I have a case of the grumble dust, and I need you to watch myself for a little bit so nobody leaves and finds out that there's more interesting things to watch on YouTube. And also, I hate Ohio." So I was like, oh, dang, so now I have to come up with a topic for my very own show. And I was like, oh, what about talking about your favorite toy stores? So my favorite toy store is HelloDopeToys.com. So they used to have this really bad website. It used to look real scammy. Like if I gave them money, they were going to go spend it on like blow and hookers. But now their website is really nice. And like I can just go in and do like 1-2 click. And then my order's placed. And they ship super fast, guys. They ship everything in one business day. So like I get all my toys first. So when I'm out there on the playground and all my friends are like, oh, dang, Mouse Man, where'd you get that action figure? I still have to wait 17 months for mine. And I'm just like, well, I went to HelloDopeToys.com and I just pushed the buttons and then they shipped it out to me. And the packaging is so nice, guys. Like I opened up the box. I was like, oh, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this kind of packaging. It's so nice. But then my trash can gets full because of all the packing stuff. And I was just like, oh, dang, I just changed the trash. But now I gotta change the trash again. Oh, you're right, Matthew Matson. You can use the code APWT at HelloDopeToys.com and save 10% on your order. So how that works is, so you're gonna save 10%, and then a Punk with Toys, he has to pay that 10% that y'all save. So if you don't like Lawrence, you can just go to HelloDopeToys.com and just buy a bunch of stuff and rack up his bill. So then like at the end of the month, they're like, Hello Dope Toys is like, oh, Lawrence, you owe us $1 million because of all the 10% codes that everybody used. And yeah, that's how that works. Okay, guys, so it looks like it's time for me to go now. So make sure you go to HelloDopeToys.com and like and subscribe. And then in the comments, put what your favorite toy store is. But if it's not HelloDopeToys.com, I'm probably just going to delete it, okay? So, all right, guys, bye!
Hi, and welcome to Thursday with a Friend. My name is Lawrence, and when you are an advertiser on my show and you have a commercial, well, you get that commercial as your intro. So I want to say welcome my special guest, Mr. Black Nite himself, Aaron. Hello Dope Toys, how are you doing?
Doing good, man. What's it? Let's tell you off screen and anybody that was watching on Sunday, I got something. They don't know what the hell it is. Here's more antibiotics, and here's some of this, and here's this thing that your insurance doesn't cover. But go ahead and take that, and if that don't work, come back.
But they made sure to charge you, right?
Oh yeah. I sent you the bill though.
Oh well, yeah. That's you get 10% off. Use your APWT code there.
Yeah, it works. It works everywhere here.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I find it weird that Columbus would be honoring the fan of Michigan everywhere. But hey, if it works for you guys, I'm glad.
I mean, we kind of left that out though. We can't rile up the Ohioans too much. Right now they're kind of focused on Tennessee, so you're okay until next year.
Oh, why are you getting rid of Ryan Day?
Shit, yeah, right. It took them how long to get rid of John Cooper?
If I remember correctly, it was 9-2-1 was his record. Well, was Michigan's record against them? Yeah.
Not so.
I'd say I feel bad for you, but we had Rich Rod and Brady Hoke. And the other thing that I will tell people, if you're a sports fan, everyone wanted Lloyd Carr gone. And just be careful what you wish for because you didn't have a plan in place.
I know. God, no. Especially bringing in Rich Rod, dude. That dude was horrible. Horrible decision.
It was. I remember when they brought him in, it was people either wanted Well, people wanted Jim Harbaugh, but no one thought Jim Harbaugh was going to come then, which he probably wasn't. But Les Miles was the other one. And there was a faction that no one wanted Les Miles. And I said, I'll take Les Miles because he ran some weird offense. You know, he was from Michigan, so he understood everything. And he was coaching at LSU. So it wasn't like he was some well, Rich Rod ended up back there. He's back at West Virginia
or something.
No, I think he's the head coach at West Virginia again.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, they hired him back, which is crazy. Like, that was many years ago that he did something great for them. So, anyway, thank you for joining me. As you can hear, Roman, because my son is here now, standing in the doorway.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me. I know you guys do a show every Sunday night,
Yep.
where everyone should be going to watch. You know, I try and watch every single week. Sometimes I have to tune off after a while because, I
get it.
people say the same thing. I'm sure when they see me, they're like,
Yeah, I get it. Usually I work though on Monday, so like I usually try to catch I think it was this Monday. I think I caught like the end of it. So
you came in right at the end.
I was doing some stuff, some office stuff. I'm like, I need some noise while I'm doing some work, and I'm like, he's still on good.
My biggest problem that I have is I don't know how to end things, and when I'm at like 11:30, when I know I want to wrap it up at midnight, and I see people just being able to come on, I feel like, hey, you know what? They've tuned in. I should spend a little bit more time, and next thing I know, it's 12:30, sometimes approaching 1, and it's like I gotta stop doing that.
That's where Ted's quick to draw. Oh, yep, bye click. Catch the next one.
I am awful about that. I've talked about it. I don't know how to end things. Like I'll just keep going and going and going. But I don't. I live off like 4 to 5 hours of sleep anyway.
Right.
So I don't know about you, but when I get done doing a live stream, I'm wide awake.
Oh yeah.
So it's like going to the gym. I used to go to the gym at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I wouldn't go to bed till 2 o'clock. And I had a buddy that's a trainer. He's like, dude, I get done working out. I can just pass out. I'm like, not me.
That's usually when I'm down here packing something or doing some behind the scenes stuff.
And you guys are doing it. You guys are running a second. Don't mind me. My dog's just come in and out.
It's cool. I'm eating dinner, so
You're doing it off screen at least.
Try to at least.
So, do you mind me asking where? How old are you?
41.
41. Oh man, you're young. I thought you were a little bit older.
No, it's the white in the beard that makes me look older.
Are you and Ted are the same age?
Yep.
Roughly.
He's like 3 months older, or 5 months older than me.
His Thursday was at the beginning of this year.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who I interviewed last month, let alone what we talked about all the way. I'm starting trying to go through who I want to ask to come on, in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, did I have them on? Because you just start to forget all the people that you've had on, and I'm trying not to ask people again.
Yeah.
Because we're going through their life, but I think I'm gonna kind of change it up where I'm gonna kind of bring people back on and see how things have changed, like some of the earlier ones and everything.
Right.
So, anyway, so you're 41 years old. Where did you grow up at?
Right here, Columbus, Ohio, man. Born and raised.
I know that, but everyone else might not know that.
Oh, I was born here in Columbus, Ohio. Pretty much kind of like the eastern side of Columbus is where I grew up. Like the equivalent to my house, I was probably like 15 minutes away from like downtown. Like you could see the downtown skyline from my front house.
Now, how big is like Columbus, Ohio? Because when I think of Columbus, I think it's a college town. But I was there for PowerCon, and I believe that's the only time I've ever been there. Yeah, it was a college town, but where we were at, I mean, it didn't feel like a college town?
So I mean, Columbus is pretty big, like in the sense of like the city, because within the city, you have all your suburbs, but like Columbus goes what? Damn, it's pretty. I don't know. I have to think about that. It's a big city though,
Okay.
because I mean, like it engulfs multiple suburbs. So like
Yeah.
like Ted's in Worthington. So like that is within the Columbus limits. It goes like as far east, almost to Newark. Um, as far south as I think, like right on the outskirts of like Washington Courthouse. So like,
Okay.
it's pretty large.
Because Ann Arbor. I mean, technically, Ann Arbor. I mean, it's not far out of Detroit. That's where Michigan plays, if anyone is wondering. But when I drive through there, I mean, I couldn't imagine raising a family there. Although there's a lot of things there, but Ypsilanti, which is where Eastern Michigan is right next to it. So you have two big college towns right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
In Detroit's 40 minutes away, depending on where you're at. Depending on when you're coming out of Detroit,
Right.
you could be an hour away, you could be 40 minutes away.
Yeah, like we're right smack in the middle of the city, so like it's an hour. I mean, you could trek to Cincinnati in under an hour. Cleveland like an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
So like to give you that kind of retrospect between the two other cities, we're not that far away.
Well, I know when I went down there, it took me almost to Cincinnati before it had me shoot over. Because like I said, I had no idea where. I mean, I don't really pay attention to where Columbus is, other than I know that it's in Ohio. Cincinnati, I know is at the bottom because anytime that I've driven to Florida down 75,
Yeah.
Ted, if you're watching, 75 is the expressway that goes all the way from the top of Michigan all the way down to Florida. How Ted didn't know what 75 was, he's like, I don't really leave the city.
He doesn't.
Which it blows me away.
For a guy that was born in Florida and moved to Ohio, that was the farthest he went.
And it makes no sense because 75 is like, that's a highway people know. Like, even if you don't live in any of the states, I-75, considering of how far it goes down, people know it.
Yeah, no.
Not Ted.
The three he knows the most: 270 because it goes in a circle, 71 and 315. That's it. You might get lucky with 70. You might get lucky, but that's it.
But I love that he was just like, I don't ever leave. Like, well, you really don't. Like,
no.
So anyway, 41. So you're, again, you're about 8 years younger than I am. So do you like growing up? Like, how was your family dynamic? Were your parents together? Brothers, sisters?
So yeah, no, my parents were divorced. They divorced when I was over like maybe 3-4 years old.
Okay.
So living with my mom, my brother, my sister. That was kind of like our core dynamic. Single mom raising 3 kids. She did the best she could, with what she had. Yeah, it's exactly 70. But I mean, we had what we needed, and my grandmother, I love her to death. She taught us the hustle game. This is always hustling, making money, doing something. So when we're not doing anything, we're out doing something, trying to help bring extra money in. So well, my brother and sister. I mean, I'm the oops child. Me and my brother were 9 years apart. Me and my sister 12 years apart. So,
wow.
Yeah, the ultimate of the oops. Like, oh, hey, here I am. But yeah, I mean, I lived a good childhood. A lot of hand-me-downs.
It's kind of crazy. Like, you said your parents split up when you were like 3-4, but clearly 12 years into the marriage, they were still doing something. There was some sparks still going on.
It's funny because my mom for the running gag was my mom's birthday gift 9 months later was another kid, because we're all born in March. So June was a very, very happening month.
Was that your mom's birthday?
Yes.
Yeah, that's...
Yes. Like I said, happy birthday. here's your gift. You just gotta wait 9 months to get it.
I find that very amusing in so many ways.
Yeah. And just to keep the gag going, they go, well, okay, well, they're all born in March, so we're all going to name them with A's. Why not? Why not just keep it simple?
So you guys all have A names?
Yep. Aaron, Adam, and Angela.
No, I take it that was on purpose. They wanted all A names.
I doubt that highly seriously. I think it was kind of I think after my brother and sister were born, so I said they're 3 years apart. It was like, well, I guess we should make it an A name. I guess. So here I am.
But that's okay because my ex, her last name is Kimineki. Don't try and spell it, guys. You won't be able to. Her mom decided that she was going to try and spell out the name with the 4 kids that she had.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. So it made, like, I don't know why you try and do that because it wasn't going to work out.
No. That's why I did not don my child's name with my name. It's bad enough that Key and Peele has like tarnished my name forever. Like Aaron was a very popular name, like growing up. Like you couldn't go, you could throw a dart in the air and hit another Aaron somewhere.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Not
especially here. Like
I don't remember there being a lot of AA.
Yeah. Well, not even just like like my spelling, but
the girl name,
girl name, yeah.
Yes. The girl Aaron. That I remember.
Aaron in general, so many.
Yeah, I remember a lot of Aarons, females, not a lot of guys, and I never understood. Now, let me ask you this: did anyone ever call you Ron?
No.
Okay.
God.
Because have you ever heard of Ron as short for Aaron?
No.
See, where's Ronnie Trickshot at? So. Before I had Ronnie Trickshot on, I was talking to Shark Eyes, and I go, and he kept referring to him as Aaron, and I go, where does Ron come from? He's like, that's short for Aaron. I'm like, no, it's not.
No.
So when I had him on the show, I asked him about that, and he's like, yeah, everyone calls anyone that's named Aaron here is named Ron because they're out of Australia, and I'm like, I've never heard that. Yet it makes total sense.
Oh yeah.
It makes more sense than how people come up with Larry is short for Lawrence.
Yeah.
Because there's an L and A in there, but that's where it ends.
That's about where it ends. Yeah. For years, I had to figure out how Ted got Ted from Edward, but then he took me through the history books, and Theodore Roosevelt was kind of how that all. Pretty sure that was right. I don't remember. That was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, it was weird saying Ted's name when it comes. I'm like, who the fuck is Ed?
Don't can you boot this guy out of here?
Who?
This Ted Darklaw guy.
This guy? Bro, why did I never think of calling him wrong? Hey, Ted, seriously, until Shark Eyes told me, and I even asked this guy Aaron that we work with. I go, has anyone ever called you Ron? He's like, no. I'm like, you ever even heard that short for your name? He's like, no, I haven't. I was like, exactly.
No.
So I know where's Payne? Payne's here. Payne, have you ever been called Ron or heard that? I've never heard that at all.
Never.
I've
heard many nicknames of that, but no, nothing being called Ron.
Okay, see,
King Edward, yeah, whatever.
It's like Rick, short for Eric. I've never heard.
Well, that's depending on how you spell. Like I have an acquaintance. He spells his name Erick. So either way, whether it's Eric or Rick, you have that spelling in the name, but he never calls himself that.
It just seems wrong because Ron, I don't like, Ron is short for Ronald.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems pretty cut and dry that it's short for Ronald. Anyway, enough with that because I feel like I need to ask everyone his name Aaron. And I'm sorry, the AA Ron.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious.
It is so ingrained in the past few years that is how you're always going to be referred to.
Oh yeah, I work with a bunch of teenagers, so that is the name they have dubbed me with. They will never call me anything else outside of that.
But it makes no sense because no one calls Denise D-Nice. Like no one uses any of the other ones.
I mean, it's for me, I think it's the guy whose name was Aaron. Like the way he took it, he took it so well. Like you had to keep it going.
Oh, again, it's amazing. Again, you guys should be proud to have your name changed to AA Ron because of that.
I'll make sure we put that in the books. I'm sure my wife is still watching. Hey, we're gonna change our name.
next AA Ron meeting that you guys all have, the AA Ron Club.
The AA Ron Clubs. Yep, that's going to be the third tier membership on Hello Dope Toys YouTube page.
It's even worse that I said like I've never heard anyone called Ron as short for Aaron, yet AA Ron is literally saying it.
Yeah.
All right, so you talked about having brother and sister. They're older. Normally, I'll ask if you had a built-in play friend, but I'm willing to guess if your brother was 9 years older than you,
no,
he probably wanted to have nothing to do with you as a kid.
Pretty much. Yeah, he was a special guy. Always out with the ladies, trying to be out with the ladies, I guess. But always tried to make some time. My brother, love him to death. He always put family first, no matter what. No,
that's good.
Through all the dumb crap that man's done in his life, it's always been family. And even if it was something like playing Madden football on Sega Genesis, like that was like our rivalry, like for ages. I think up to Madden 97. Like we played through almost every game. That was our thing. Every August, you get the new game, we play it. So he beat me.
So when you were younger, when you were little and everything, did you he made time for you knowing that you're just his little kid brother? Just
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it always
I mean, while the age gap is significant,
yeah,
that was the one thing that he tried to do, find that time, whether it's an hour, 30 minutes, something just to say, hey, let's do something.
And I feel like if there's like a 9 or 10 year age gap, especially with the same sex, I had a 6-year-old a sister that was 6 years younger. We had nothing in common, but I feel like looking at it now, like if you have an age gap of like 9-10 years, when you're 14, 15, you're seeing this little 4-year-old come up to you and you're probably looking at him different, like, oh, he just wants a little bit of time and you have these games to play or just sit down and play some action figures. He's never really going to be tagging along with you like if he was a year or two younger. And mom and dad are like, you got to take him with you.
It's funny because we could talk about my brother a lot because this story that you're actually telling flips later in life. Once I turned 18, now he's 27, and that dynamic there became exactly what you just described. Because now, while we're 9 years apart, everyone thought we were twins.
Oh wow.
We looked very similar. Like, I wasn't always like, full bearded out. So we'd go to clubs. I'd be in the 25 and up clubs, and anywhere that he would go, I was there. Like the thing he always taught me was act the part, look the part, be the part. Yes, I'm 18, but act like I'm 21. Act like I'm 25. You know, don't do dumb shit. We're gonna do dumb shit. Just don't make it look like you're doing it. So, you know, it was cool, like being able to do things that were way out of my age range with him, and then vice versa. You know, we kind of trade off. Like he'd take me to like the 30 and up club. Like we'd go together to like the 21, like the 21-year-old nights. So just kind of cool.
Beardy McBearderson says, my brothers that live with me who are 11 and 18 years older are the ones who bought me all my toys. You were clearly the oops child.
Yeah.
Or your parents just kept popping them out one way or another. I could not imagine having an 18-year-old. That would be like me having a child now, and my son is 18. Hell no, I do not need to restart my life.
No, let's see, the clock is ticking right now. I love my son to death. I love him to the ends of the earth and then some. You're 10, which means you have 8 years, my friend. Figure it out. I'm kicking you the hell out. He's smart. He is a very smart kid. He can probably get any scholarship he wants.
I used to say the same thing.
Got to go.
I
like to catch up on.
All right, so going back to being a kid, do you remember like the first toys you played with? I always say like I was born in 75, right before 76. Adventure People and Matchbox Hot Wheels, but you being God, 8-9 years younger, you might have had like hand-me-downs of Motu, Star Wars, G.I. Joe. Do you remember like the first toys you played with? Not what the first ones you fell in love with, but what you played with.
So we talked about this a lot on our show. For me growing up, I never really had a lot of toys. Obviously, some hand-me-downs. We always go to like the thrift store. We get to pick out something, but like for me, it was Turtles. It was the real Ghostbusters. Because I think like one of the Christmases I remember we got the proton packs because my cousins every summer all my cousins get together. So like we all had the real Ghostbuster proton packs and the trap to put the ghost in.
Yeah,
but I'd never really gotten into Motu. I never got into Star Wars, like any of those figures as a kid. It was Turtles. It was Voltron, and
well, Turtles would have been prime age for you. I mean, prime for you,
right? But like I said, like I said, growing up, we didn't have a lot. The things that we got, we got because it was a thing. But like growing up with toys wasn't really a thing. Grandma would always, like I said, like for us going, like when we go to the thrift store, that was like our Christmas. Like, oh, pick out something. We find something that we like. Christmas was, it was nice, but it wasn't like, I just dropped $400 on Christmas for the kids. That wasn't like that for us growing up. Let's say single mom trying to, with 3 kids trying to make do. So getting the little things was a big deal. Like getting a Sega Genesis was like, this is it. This is all you're getting. Like this is your birthday gift, your Christmas gift, your future graduation gift. Like that was it. Like I said, never really. We didn't get into toys. Like I didn't get into toys until probably like the mid 90s, like early to mid 90s.
So you're saying like your Christmas, let's say 39 years ago to this Christmas, you wouldn't have been getting 8 shipwrecks and a USS flag.
No, only 3, and half of a USS flag. No, I mean, for me, like I said, as a kid when I grew up, like my fate, the thing I carried around with me the most was those Pound Puppies. If you remember those.
Yeah, I remember Pound Puppies very well.
I had one that was my best friend. I took it everywhere.
Really?
We went out like that and my big wheel, and we would just go. We go down the street just chilling. That was
All right,
like my toy
so
as a
as
kid, really.
a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, I mean, what were you doing? Were you into sports? Were you
I mean, I loved sports. Always loved football.
okay?
As a kid, loved basketball. But I mean, I was like in our neighborhood, we were taught to go outside and play.
Okay.
Go, find the neighborhood kids and go do stuff. Until the light comes on. If that light comes on, you're not in my house, you're in trouble. But playing with toys was a thing, but it wasn't like an instilled thing.
Okay.
Like always outside, always doing something, playing tag, hide and go seek, shooting hoops, playing street football. That was the majority of my like childhood until we moved up north.
So your whole toy collecting and everything that you've gotten into, it doesn't come back to any nostalgia or anything.
Only nostalgia, I guess, would be just like the remembers of like the TV shows I would watch.
Okay.
Watching, coming home from school, watching, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Transformers. I dabbled a little bit with G.I. Joe. Like it was on, but like I wasn't a G.I. Joe guy.
Yeah, G.I. Joe by that time. I mean, what year were you born?
83.
83. Oh, I guess by the time you know really what's going on, it's really on its neon, and I don't know how much the cartoon was actually on then, because by that time
very few, very far in between. Yeah.
Yeah,
but I think that was the turn where like Fox really started like changing like how they showed TV.
Yeah.
Going more with like like prime things like 93 Power Rangers was the show, like that kicked off your after school special.
Yep.
So
all right, so as you're growing up, you're in elementary school, you don't really have toys, so I'm assuming through middle school you're not. I usually ask people like, were you still playing with toys? But it sounds like you never just had like a toy. So during middle school, did you play sports or anything like that?
I did. I played in so we have like what's called the Boys and Girls Club of America.
Yeah.
So I would go there every Saturday with some guys from school, and we played basketball. I was on the basketball team. We played football. We tried soccer. Soccer wasn't my thing. My son loves soccer. I don't.
You don't have any Latin in you, so of course soccer's not your thing.
No.
But we all know why you like basketball.
You know it. But yeah, I mean, I was heavy into sports. I loved sports. Everything about sports was me. I wanted to be the next great quarterback or the Jerry Rice of receivers. I was fast. I mean, that was the one thing that stood me out from a lot of people, was I was very quick. I hated track. They're like, "Oh, well, why don't you run track?" I did the 100 meter dash. Like, I'm a sprinter. I will sprint, but I'm not no long distance, no hurdles.
If I can see the end, I'm good with it. My dad ran multiple marathons, and I never understood it.
My son has done more marathons than I have.
Yeah, I'm sorry. 26.2 miles. My dad was like, it's just knowing that you accomplished it. I'm like, that's why they make cars, so you can go that far.
Exactly. I'll drive the car like maybe a mile away from the finish line. I'll get out and then I'll finish. And even then, I'm going to complain about the 1 mile that I have to run to the finish line.
You and me both.
No, sir.
So middle school, you were doing all stuff like that. Now, when you go into high school,
high school took a weird turn, man. So let me backtrack a little bit, because I mean, there were some toys in my life in middle school. I mean, like I said, big wrestling fan. I love wrestling. I got into wrestling with my dad. Kind of in the tail end of the 80s.
So I didn't ask. So you were living with your mom. Were you still seeing your dad? Was he still part of your life? Okay.
Oh yeah. So my dad lived like 20 minutes south of where we lived. So like every Every other weekend I would go, well, because he was living with my grandma, so I would go there, and then I would go there every summer. And no matter, and he moved a lot. I mean, he was living in Ohio. They moved to Indiana. He was in Memphis for a while. So wherever they were, every summer I was there.
Okay.
So I got to spend good. Out of my brother, my sister, and I mean, I had a much better connection with my dad. Only because maybe I didn't see or understand, what happened to cause said divorce. So I saw him in a different light. That was my dad. I loved him. We did things that father sons do. He taught me how to paint, which I suck at doing. He taught me how to type. He taught me man things at a very young age. But
I never thought of typing as a man thing.
Well, it was like the teaching method, teaching how to do these things. Because that was
I say that, but no one learned how to type because that's what a secretary did. Yet now we all sit at computers and type.
Yeah. He's like, well, he's like, that was like right at the turn of like where, we had a typewriter, we had a typewriter in our house.
Yeah.
Like that was like right before we got our first computer. I didn't get my first computer. Wow, until 97, 98.
Oh, when I got mine.
Maybe somewhere in there. So everything was we had to learn. We had a typewriter. My grandmother bought us typewriters. We had to learn to type. That was in her house. You had to learn a couple things. You had to learn how to type. You had to learn how to play the piano. Everyone, all the grandkids had to learn how to play piano. You had to learn how to do she flipped houses. So when you've got a overabundance of grandchildren, remodeling how you learned how to do electrical work. You learned how to reframe a house. You learned how to do concrete. You learned that with her at a very young age.
Wow.
Do I remember how to do that now? No. I can't do the crap in my own house right now. That's what YouTube's for. But I mean, that's what they taught us. They taught us how to do these things, because eventually somewhere down the road, this is gonna help do something with life. I chose toys, and none of that applies to what I'm doing right now. But it was fun.
I have to say this. I remember being at a party in high school, and this guy started playing the piano. And I was like, I cannot believe he knows how to play the piano. And it was at that point when he started playing it, I was like, for the love of God, that is the biggest chick magnet here.
Yeah. Oh,
and nobody realized it. And I don't even think at that time, I just kind of remember every single girl's going up to him.
Yeah. So, my grandma was very religious, very, very, very religious. So we had, we played in the piano, the Christmas shows.
Oh wow!
So you get all the little church girls oh my God, look, he knows how to play piano. Oh my God, fuck you. My grandmother made me sit in this damn bench for 6 months learning to play this stupid song. Okay, fuck you. And it's cute. But damn it, I slayed that damn song. Damn it.
But you were saying about your dad and wrestling, so
yeah. Yeah, so he got me into wrestling in the late 80s. Like that. What's in the 80, 89, early 88 to 88, 89, somewhere in there. Watching Saturday night.
Saturday night main event.
Yep, that was our viewing time, and it kind of evolved because my mom would not let us watch wrestling in the house at all. It was a no-go. Even watching The Simpsons was we're gonna let you watch it, but I hate watching it. But she loved House of Horror. She loved that episode. Every Halloween, no matter what her opinion is, we're watching the Halloween special.
Really?
But, oh yeah. I don't know why. She never really explained why, but she loved it. But she hated The Simpsons and hated us watching it. But yeah, I got into wrestling was just my go-to. I thought I wanted to be one. I had my Hulk Hogan wrestle buddy, doing moves. Yeah, I had one of those. And then wrestling just kind of evolved. You know, that was just like the one constant that I would always watch. It was either football. I was watching football, I was watching basketball, and I was watching wrestling, no matter what.
So Clint Jorgensen says, "I assume you were Bret Hart and probably Ultimate Warrior."
Negative, neither one.
No, because you were a fan of who?
Well, by proxy, I guess a Warrior fan by creation of another character. But my I was a Hulk Hogan fan growing up, like you know, just a lot of people were at the time. You know, Hulk Hogan was everywhere, and once I kind of like found my own way, I got into this guy. Sting will always be my number one guy forever.
Because you like The Simpsons.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't a fan of Surfer Sting though.
I couldn't stand Crow Sting. I was never a WCW guy. I grew up on the WWF. Mm-hmm. But when I saw him become the Crow and not Bart Simpson, it just never made any sense to me.
Yeah,
never.
The Surfer Sting, like you know, the bodybuilding. Like I mean, I didn't like that character. I understood it. I understood why. But once he made that turn to Crow Sting, you know, that solidified, like, no matter what, that was my guy. And I've picked up other favorite wrestlers along the way. You know, once WWF at the time really picked up in the Monday Night Wars, you know, I love The Rock, and I was a huge Generation X fan. You know, I love the bad guys. You know, but no matter what, I mean, even to this day, it will always be Sting. Always be Sting. You can put in a trivia question on it. The answer will always be Sting.
Now, I mean, I know I've talked about the aircraft carrier maybe once or twice. I may have told that story. But I have like two claim to fames. One was getting the USS Flag and 8 shipwrecks in 85 for Christmas. But the other was going to WrestleMania 3 with 93,173 people. And I don't care that they say those numbers are fake. I was there. I counted every single one of them as a very young child.
I'm sure.
You can try and take that away. I don't care. I watched Hulk Hogan pick up the big, mean, ugly giant and slam him, and all of Pontiac shook. But I say it all the time. If I start watching those promos between him and Andre, or when Andre rips the cross off, dude, I get chills. I get goosebump. I get fucking hyped. Like I'm ready to run through a fucking wall. Probably like all those football players for Dan Campbell. There's something about that guy that makes me want to run through a wall, right?
Oh yeah.
But when you hear that, and you can take yourself back to that age, and it would have been right before you probably would have really got into it. But it's like, but I'm sure you have that. But the Hulk Hogan never really progressed. He hit Hollywood. It was cool, but his interviews and his promo style was the same. Yeah. It didn't evolve like others did. But when you go back to the 80s and 90s, like you said, I mean, he was bigger than life.
That's a lot of people like, I mean, a lot of non-traditional wrestling fans don't understand that Hulk Hogan had movesets in the 80s. Like he used to come off the top rope.
He could wrestle.
He did some wild stuff. A lot of that was in, you know, New Japan, where he did it all.
That's what a lot of people don't realize, that when he wrestled in Japan, because he learned to wrestle with real wrestlers.
Yeah.
You know, but Vince didn't need that.
Yeah, you need a good look. You gotta have a couple moves, and that's about it. I mean, how many times, man? Try and do a big leg drop right now as a finishing move.
Oh,
you don't get laughed at. Like that was it. That's it. That's all you got.
I've talked before about, again, my favorite wrestler of all time is Shawn Michaels. Mm-hmm. All right, his finishing move is a shuffle sidekick. Yep. They call it a super. It is a shuffle sidekick. Anyone that's been in karate, it is just a real easy. It's a shuffle sidekick. It is just a move that people do.
Yeah.
But when Shawn Michaels does it, or did it, I guess he doesn't really do it anymore. Like that's the end. Now, it helped that he has an arsenal of other
Oh yeah.
moves that he could do. But Hulk Hogan, I mean, I know Legend Series talks about it. He says at the end, Hogan must pose.
Yeah.
But that was his greatest move, because at the end of the night, everyone was sticking around to watch him pose.
I mean, you knew what was coming.
Yes.
You can throw a Hogan match on right now, and we can commentate the whole thing, because really just the end. What you need to know. He's gonna get beat up. Then his
arm's gonna go up 2.5 times. Get dropped.
Flaring up, and then he hits that punch. Then he hits you off the rope with the big boot, and then the leg drop, and then he hits that.
He left out the body slam.
Oh yeah, that's right, the body slam. I can't forget the body slam. Body slam was important. Like, that was it. That was Hogan. That was Hogan's matches in a nutshell.
And no one cared.
No,
none of us cared.
Not at all. Because it was. Back then it was much simpler.
Yes.
You can make glitz and glam out of nothing. You have a Hulk Hogan who's a mega star. He's in movies, he's in commercials and all this stuff. You had Andre the Giant. This dude is large. He's the biggest guy. You created these superheroes who tell these stories in wrestling form, and it was great. Like now, it's it's a little different, but
it's way different. And I don't watch it anymore. It's way different because, back in the day, if you looked at Bret Hart's a pretty big guy in real life.
Yeah.
But Bret Hart was not a big guy for those wrestlers.
No.
But again, you assumed he was the size of your dad, your uncle. He probably wasn't. But when you put him next to Hulk Hogan and Andre and Big John Studd and King Kong Bundy, he was small.
Yeah.
But, so you wanted to see these larger than life guys, take things out. Mm-hmm. No one wants to see a little destroyer, in the ocean, take down something. They want to see the big aircraft carrier. They want to see the planes flying off of it. Like that's what people want to see.
They do, until they made it cool for a little guy to beat a big guy, and that was Rey Mysterio.
But even though if you still can't work a mic, it gets boring.
Well, well, now it doesn't even matter, because now most people have a mouthpiece.
Yeah,
they have a Paul Heyman or a Bobby the Brain Heenan, talking for him. No one wanted to hear Brock Lesnar talk until he learned to talk. He had Paul Heyman for that.
Even that, it wasn't that great.
Right, but at least he could hold his own.
Yeah. Did Roman Reigns ever talked? Because
he needed to shut up. That was the problem. He talked too much, and him talking too much made him look like a fool.
Yeah, like I said, I don't watch it. I remember Roman Reigns came in, but The Rock was still in and out. Same with Austin, but John Cena, he can work a mic.
Yeah.
Austin was amazing. The Rock is probably the greatest person to ever work a mic, because it was always changing. Shawn Michaels could be either good or bad. Kurt Angle was so underrated, in my opinion, working a mic. Because that guy easily could have walked out and said, "Hey, you know what? Fuck this! I won an Olympic gold. I can kick all your asses." With
a broken freaking neck, by the way.
It's a broken freaking
neck. You can't leave that part out. It's very important.
Okay, so that was like your middle school, you said.
Yeah.
With your dad, and was your brother or I don't know, like your sister, but your brother into it at all, or?
Oh yeah, my brother was into wrestling. My sister wasn't so much. By that time, my sister was in college or getting ready to graduate college, so she was on her own path to life. But I didn't we always watched on TV. I didn't get to see my first wrestling show.
Piper with the coconut.
I love it. I didn't see my first wrestling show till probably the mid 2000, early 2000s.
Oh
I think
wow.
me and Ted went to like either it was a Raw or a house show. Yeah, that was like that was my first time ever going.
Okay, let me ask you. You've gone to live events.
Yeah.
Do you find live events boring?
Let me preface this way. Raws, SmackDowns, those, yes. And I don't find it boring in the sense of like, oh my god, I wish I was doing something else. Like, it's different when you're at a show because there's that dead time. Like, you definitely know when they're in a commercial.
Yeah.
But like the atmosphere of the show is amazing.
But
Now, I've been to 2 WrestleManias, and like WrestleMania, that's just a whole nother world to itself.
yeah, I've been to 2.
And then but yeah, I don't say it's boring.
It's just
But it's just I hate knowing the dead time.
without the commentary, there's something missing.
Yeah, I mean that is the one thing, like, because not being able to hear what they're saying. But when you got 15,000, 17,000 people around you, other wrestling fans having wrestling talk.
I just think that the commentary is so important in wrestling. And we know it's kind of weird because like I can't, like, every time I hear that stupid New York, anytime that they make a comment or they play something on the sports radio shows about that stupid New York Yankee commentator that has to make it about him, I hate that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about you, it's about what they did. But in wrestling, it's the exact opposite. But it's also a show in wrestling where baseball, football, whatever it is, sports, it's supposed to be about what's going on, not about making it about yourself.
Yeah, same time said that. I mean, the house shows are different because it's more about the fans than it is.
Yeah, but you also
TV.
but like you also wouldn't be expecting the commentary, right? You're not going to see Jim Ross and JR out there. Now I'm going back because I'm talking Jim Ross and JR.
True commentary team. Nobody better.
I am with you. I think Vince and Jesse were really good, or Jesse and the Gorilla.
Yeah.
Or Gorilla and Gorilla and Vince didn't do it because they were both faces. But like Jesse to me, yeah, it's JR and the King were the best.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think it's close.
No.
And there have been some really good announcers, but they were just amazing together. Because you actually felt that you could actually tell there's a friendship between them.
Yeah.
Even though they were on 2 opposite sides. I also thought Bobby Heenan was awesome too.
Wait a second. I mean, Tony Schiavone was. I mean, he was good for what WCW allowed him to do.
I hated Schiavone. I hated Larry Zbyszko. But I will say this: I listened to Schiavone's podcast in the past few years, and it's really good. He really gives a lot of insight. But I was never a Schiavone fan. I didn't think most of WCW guys were that good.
I didn't mind him. He brought something to the table that he tried to bring life to commentary for WCW.
Yeah, good luck.
Well, I guess. I mean, look at it now. Where is it at? But but he's on AEW now.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to comment on how good or bad anyone is today because I don't listen. I think Michael Cole, though, because I was watching when Michael Cole started, taking over for. Did he take over for the King?
He took over for JR initially when he went out when he had a contract dispute and he went out with when he had cerebral palsy.
Yeah. So I mean, I thought Michael Cole's one of those guys that it's good that they gave him time because he got better.
Well, I mean, when you're getting berated by The Rock in every backstage interview, I mean, either you got to learn from it or you need to get out. And
I think Jonathan Coachman was way underrated.
I loved Coach
for
Man.
what he did. For what he did, because he was. I wouldn't say he was a real good commentator when he did it, but he was as an announcer. He had this smug look to him, but he knew, like, once he got backed down by anyone, he was able to back down perfectly and not make it where like he's going to come back as this tough guy.
Right.
And and some people can't do that with their ego, just in general.
No. Well, his ego got the best of him when he left and then went to ESPN and didn't make it with ESPN and came crawling back. So he had to sit in a reality check for quite a bit to understand.
You can't take your shot, though. I mean, if someone's willing to give you that job at ESPN, but I agree, I don't think it.
But I'm gonna give Michael Cole his flowers, man. Like, he obviously is he's a corporate guy, but he's been there probably the longest, or at least on screen.
Yeah.
Like,
you're right. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they gave him time to grow. And like I said, you can call it corporate or whatever. I mean, you listen to Bruce Pritchard talk about it, and he said, I would tell Vince that I didn't think that was a good idea. But when your boss tells you, okay, thank you for telling me your opinion, but this is what we're going to do, you either lose your job or you do what they say. That doesn't make you a yes man. And again, it could be worse. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to get into all this stuff. I wasn't shocked by anything that I heard because I'm like, I've heard all this stuff. That whole documentary on Netflix, like, great. But if you've been following wrestling, and I still follow a lot of what's going on, like the drama stuff, especially with Vince McMahon, like there's no way to avoid it. And it was such a huge part of my childhood.
Yeah.
Like you could tell me about what the designers of G.I. Joe, I wouldn't know. Like, all right, I don't know them. I know them more now just from what I'm doing, but I don't. But Vince McMahon, like, he molded so many of our childhoods.
Oh, yeah.
And before you, like, he was molding my childhood before you even, like, really knew what wrestling was. And he continued to do it and molded it even more for,
made it
the whole Attitude Era.
Multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah. It's a lot different, that's for sure. All right, so that's your middle school. Going into high school, like I said, I feel like there's a huge transition for all of us.
Yes.
What did you start? Like, how did you? Like, what was high school like for you?
Girls. It was all about the girls, man. I still played sports. I played football. That was like my main passion.
Okay.
I played for like 2 years. I ended up getting hurt. And they said I couldn't play. They said I couldn't play anything. I had
Vince ain't going to jail.
No. No.
Yeah.
Good luck to him. If he does, he ain't gonna be there that long. But I had a lower back injury, and they diagnosed it as not being able. I would never be able to play sports again. Well, don't tell me what I can't do because I'm going to figure out a way to do it. I just changed what I played. So instead of playing football, I ran track for a bit. Like I said, I ran a 1 and 200 meter dash. It wasn't me. I don't like running. My buddy was like, "Hey, we're trying to put this men's volleyball league together. Like, you should play." I'm like, I probably played volleyball. I played volleyball in gym. That's like the class curriculum. They're like, well, you can jump. I'm like, okay, what's that have to do with anything? Like, just try it. If you like it, play. If not, hey, you tried it. I'm like, fine. So I went to like a couple intramurals and a couple like practices, and ended up making a team, which it didn't seem like it was a hard thing to do at that time because I say it was so new. Like, men's volleyball was not like a sport. It became a sport that year. And I did that for like 3 years. I lettered my first year, and had a girlfriend, try to live the high school life. We partied when we could. I never studied because I was so focused with my girlfriend at the time. But I mean, I think that was like the transition of life where toys. Like there were no toys. Toys left in my life at that moment. Got like I think I got into like card collecting. Like I was into like sports cards and comic books at that time.
Yeah, I was gonna. So, like, did you get into comics and?
Kind of like it's maybe my sophomore. Probably like my sophomore year of high school is when I got into
Okay.
comics.
Did you get big into it, or you just like pick up a couple things that you saw look kind of cool, or?
I mean, I was always a Spider-Man fan, so I tried to read as many Spider-Man comics that I could get my hands on. I got into reading like some one-offs here and there, X-Men, mainly a lot of Marvel. Like if you, I was not really a big DC fan outside of Batman.
I'm with you 100%.
I can't stand Superman. I don't like Superman. I hate him. I don't
the new
understand.
trailer dropped today.
I heard. Don't care. I don't know. I don't understand DC. It just never gravitated to me. I loved Marvel. Loved everything.
I'm with you. I always looked at Batman going, how does Batman fit in? He's like the only one that's not overly powered. Everyone is so overpowered in DC. I hated it.
I wanted to make a trade. I wanted them to trade like the Fantastic Four and a whole bunch of like take your pick. Take your pick whoever you want for Batman. Batman comes to Marvel, all the rest of them can go to DC.
Except Batman never would have worked in Marvel because of the costume, and it just wouldn't have worked. But I was the same way. Like and it wasn't just Batman. It seemed to be everyone that was associated with Batman, Nightwing and Robin and Catwoman and Batgirl. Like they all seem to have this flawed characteristic to them.
Yeah,
which I think made Marvel awesome.
I wanted to see a dynamic between Bruce and Tony. I wanted to see a story arc where they kind of butted heads. And I wanted to see how they would counteract each other. Because they're both got tons of money, tons of tech. How do these two minds battle each other? I wanted to see it. I wanted so badly for like a run of like Marvel versus DC, Tony Stark versus Bruce Wayne, and Iron Man and Batman. I just wanted it. I wanted it so bad, but knew it was never going to happen.
No, not between those two. But you know what? I also wouldn't want. I would not want Disney to buy DC because it's like there's worlds you just no longer like. When you're a kid, you think it's awesome, but I would never want to see those worlds collide as an adult, like on one-offs and stuff like that. But to be a permanent fixture in the universe, it's kind of like you always want to see what would happen if the Enterprise had to take on a Star Destroyer. The Enterprise would destroy the Star Destroyer. I'm just going to say that. I like Star Wars more, but the Enterprise would completely annihilate a Star Destroyer. But as an adult, you're like, I really don't want to see that. But as a kid, you're like, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Until you realize how powerful Star Trek is and their weapons compared to Star Wars.
Oh yeah. But yeah, going back, I mean, comic books was just it was my kind of getaway time. It was I take you take a couple hours and you just zone into your little world of reading what the new episode or the new comic was like. What crazy adventures Spider-Man getting into today?
But that was even in high school.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so in high school, what year did you graduate?
01.
01. So are you coming in like during high school for you? Is this during a time where I still think we're not at the point that collectibles are and comics and stuff are acceptable in high school?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it was
like now it's fine.
I mean, comics were much more ideal than
you could hide them.
Yeah.
Or you were just reading something.
Right. Like collecting toys and things like that was still kind of you were like you're a nerd or yes. that was your title. I mean, unless it was something cool like Wolverine is the universal like icebreaker. Everyone loved Wolverine. If you got a cool,
Even then?
oh yeah, if you got a cool Wolverine figure, hey, we can talk about it. But it's not one of those like everyone's coming to school like, hey man, yeah, I got this super sweet Wolverine figure, man. Look at it. No, you're not doing that. It's in high school, and it's all about hey, girls, cars, and what else you can get into.
SCS Doc says stormtroopers couldn't hit the broadside of a board cube.
Hell no. A stormtrooper couldn't hit you if you were standing right in front of it. Lord. But I bless their heart though. They go out there and they try their hardest, knowing that they're not gonna do it.
But it's funny because in the beginning of Star Wars, when the Jawas are all killed, Obi-Wan tries to make them sound like, man, these are like sharpshooters. These blasts are too precise for sand troopers. Only an Imperial. Whoa, let's calm down, all right?
That's a special elite force that was there during that time. Because we know damn well no regular stormtroopers killing anything. Nothing.
Yeah, stormtroopers equal red shirts. There was some study about red shirts in Star Trek, and it was actually like there really weren't that many that died, but I don't care. If you saw a red shirt go down in the original Star Trek series, that guy was dead.
I mean, hell, look in the series that came after. Finn said, like, look, I gotta go. I can't be rolling with these dudes. I gotta bounce. See, Finn knew it was up.
Yeah. Yes. Obi-Wan was still expecting clone troopers. All right. So high school, you're chasing chicks.
Yes.
I mean, you are hitting on ladies. In case,
yes, I was indulged in the
Black Nite is
lifestyles.
still watching.
Yes, she probably is. It's
fine. You're collecting some comics. You said you got into cards.
Yeah. Mainly into sports cards, football cards, basketball cards, a little bit of baseball.
Now, do you still collect anything like that?
No. The funny thing about me and collecting, I do everything in weird phases. Like I got into Hot Wheels for a while. I don't know why I chose Hot Wheels. It was just a thing. I love cars. I love Camaro's is my favorite car. And I used to always go to Walmart because they usually had the best selection of Hot Wheels. And always try to find the Camaro of the line. And I would collect them. And then it got into a weird habit of just like, oh, well, now you have different variations of said cars. Now I need these. So I had like tons and tons and tons of Hot Wheel cars.
Did you ever find a treasure hunt?
A couple.
I've never seen a treasure hunt in real life. Now, and I may have seen one and not realized it, but I remember when I was collecting in '95, it was really about Star Wars, Power of the Force. I was collecting some Star Trek or whatever. I didn't do any of the Hot Wheels, but some of the guys I'd wait there in the morning with were, and they always talk about the treasure hunt. So I would always if no one was around, I would go and look.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you know? And I think it was the corner. It would say treasure hunt.
Yeah, the corner would say, well, the newer ones will say it like it's cut. So the way the box they changed the box style specifically for the treasure hunts. The older ones, it was the car. The design of the car was different. So if you had two Chevy Caminos, the treasure hunt maybe had instead of a 5-spoke wheel, it had 4, or maybe it had a green. Something about the car was different. Then I said they made it a lot more easier to figure out which ones they are now.
Oh. So 3-star is saying had a little treasure chest in the front, around the front.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't really search, but you would think that as much time as I spent at Target, Toys R Us, Kmart, we didn't have Walmarts back then.
Kmart. I mean,
Yeah, I would have like come across a couple, but I never. So I'm like, I'll
Well,
buy it. It's $1, so I'd buy it.
yeah, but I mean, look at things now. Like everyone goes gaga crazy over chases.
Ugh.
Chase this, chase that, chase this, chase that. I mean, that's all the treasure hunt was a chase.
Yes.
You know, but it was much more rarer to find a treasure hunt like Hot Wheel than it is to find a Platinum Series McFarlane or Chase Funko Pop. You know, like
I think sometimes the McFarlane Chase is actually the regular release because you'll see like, whoa, why? Like nobody wants this. I'm sorry. You're just, and I don't collect McFarlane, but you'll look and you'll be like, isn't that the Chase variant? Why is there 5 here?
Right. Yeah. Out of all the ones, I mean, I got a couple of McFarlanes. I think there's one that I still have, which is a platinum one. The Abyss, which is the only one that I really liked the way he designed that one.
3-star says, when I worked nights at Walmart, those guys would come in. Then I'd see them at Target at 8 when they opened.
Yeah.
I was there for action figures and McFarlane Sports pick chases.
Yep.
They were there for Hot Wheels.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man. When someone tells you that you don't know what a nut of a collector is till you've seen a Hot Wheels collector, they are not lying.
No. Like
I honestly do not think that there is any. I don't think there's another collector in toys that is nearly as I can't think of the word that I want to use, but as ridiculous as those guys.
I don't know. Funko collectors are pretty up there.
So, see, I've never really seen too many Funko collectors because I never would go there because they're in a different section. I also don't really hunt too much anymore because now you just order shit online.
Yeah.
But to sit there and watch one sitting on the floor pulling off every single Hot Wheel,
mm-hmm.
and most of them are actually pretty respectful, and they'll put them back. You know, I don't know if they're anal. Obnoxious. That wasn't the word that I was looking for, but it does.
It fits.
And some of them were really good guys, and other ones were just. I mean, I know stories of them taking cars out of kids' hands, and this was well before I had kids. And I was like, if anyone ever would have taken something out of my kids' hands, there are some reasons to go, and that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's
but there's a line you gotta draw. Like, you know, don't take from. I mean, don't take.
You don't take it from anyone that has it in their hand. That's theirs. Sorry.
I mean, between adults, fine. You know, then y'all just fight it out. Let the best man win. But,
well, you still shouldn't do it.
I mean, you shouldn't, but if it happened, but, I mean, it's a kid. A kid. I mean, I don't know. Some of these kids now could probably whip my ass, but they'll take something from a kid. That's.
Oh yeah, it's like the guys that like. The foul ball comes with a home run, and they step in front of the kid, and then they're celebrating, and everyone around them's like, "Really?"
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was I was flipping through Facebook Reels because I was bored. I was waiting for my son to get out of school. There was this kid caught a foul ball, but he had another ball in his hand and did like a bait and switch, gave it to like this probably this girl about his age behind him, and she's like, "Oh my god, he gave me this ball that he caught." He's like, "No, bitch, I got it right here in my glove. You just think I gave you that ball." I'm like, "You know what, kid? You got something. You know what? Keep that up. You're gonna go far in life."
All right, so you go through high school. You're mostly into women, collecting some comics. After high school, what do you go off to do? Do you go into college? Do you go right into the workforce?
I mean, I was working. I was working when I was 16. I started. I got a little local Dairy Queen, and then there's a video game store had opened up. It's getting ready to open. And Ted and I would go there every day.
Yeah. Wait. Let me go back. When did you meet Ted?
I met Ted when I was 12. So it's like
Okay.
7th grade, middle school.
Now, were you guys friends then, or did you just know each other?
I was the new kid that moved into town.
Okay.
And I was in the neighborhood, and like him and another friend of ours was out, and he's like, hey, they kind of invited me into the little world, and we kind of just instantly hit it off. Like, I think our love of wrestling was like
Okay.
what really defined our friendship, because we both loved it. I would always go to his house on Mondays, and we'd be watching like Nitro, and then like commercials. Then we switch over to Raw.
You see, you guys are right at that. Yeah, you guys were like right at that age. Like there was like Monday night start. I remember when Monday night started.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not talking the wars. I'm talking Monday night. So when you met Ted, were you like, hey, like you're young, you're 12, you're like, I can't wait to explore the world? And Ted was like, I never want to leave this city.
No, definitely wasn't any of that. As young us, we got into some mischief. He was much more adventurous than I was. Like he wanted to
He told me, all transparency, I kind of said to him, because I had him on and we talked about it, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, you talked about all the stuff you did with Aaron. I don't know, like if there's anything to really tell you. Like, oh, you got to talk to him. He has stories. But he made it seem like you are way more.
No, I mean,
no.
I mean, a lot of the early stuff. Like I said, it was the upcoming. My mom was very strict. Like I had to be home at a certain time. Like there were rules, you had to follow them.
Yeah.
With Ted, very, very free roaming. I love his family. He could almost get away with side murder if he could. But we would do some like this, the things we would get into. Like across the street from our apartment is this place called Public Storage. We would go over there and like get on top of the roof and run up and down the roofs of this building until we get caught, or at least someone sees us, and then like we're like beelining to the apartments that are like next to us to try to escape. There's like Anheuser-Busch, like it's like right there. Like you go out, like you go across this bridge, and there's the Budweiser plant.
Okay.
We'd go break into the Budweiser plant. These are all his ideas, by the way. I'm just like, cool. I got a friend. I'm just gonna go hang. I'll do these things. But like, don't let this man fool you that this guy over here, he's a little crazy. Like, he's like, hey, let's go run across 71. I'm like, the fuck? Because like right across, like our apartment's right here. Here's 71 in the middle, and then on the other side of 71 was this race car track. Like you can
71 is a major highway.
It's a major highway. Like you can drive cars. They had arcades in there. He's like, let's just run across 71. It's faster. I'm like, bro, there's a bridge right there. And you just take the bridge.
They made bridges there for a reason.
You walk over it, and then you walk down this hill, and then you get to the same destination. I'm like, no, man, you go across 71. It's right there. We did it. So like it was like playing Frogger on 71 with human beings and cars. I don't know how we've survived a lot of things that we've done in our life, but somehow we're still here and standing, and all of our bones are, I think, still intact.
I was just saying that to somebody, like all the stupid skateboarding that I've done and jumping off roofs of like the school. And I used to jump off like the overhang, which is about 10 feet, at least 10 feet tall. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even think about it. My knees start to hurt now thinking about it. I used to do it all the time, and like, no one else did it. Like I'm like, I could just jump off it, and I just jumped. Never got hurt. And
yeah, we jumped off of rooftops. We jumped off of balconies. We jumped off tops of like playground sets. Like we just found anything and everything to jump off of, jump over. Like we made a competition of who could jump over the most things. So we had like a pile of bikes standing up, like all the neighborhood kids sitting in one spot. We just made up shit just to jump over things. Like that was our fun. Like that was what we did.
These were all Ted's dumb ideas.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, that's some more line. But but I mean that's what we had. Like I said, Ted and I didn't grow up with a lot of money. We had to make our fun and make things exciting for us. So we two teenage kids with a bunch of neighborhood kids. Hell, you're gonna be our props for whatever it is that we want to do. And they loved it. They would cheer for us to do it again.
Yep.
Like, oh, you jumped over 9 things. Let's add this slide at the end of it and see if you can jump over all of this plus us and the slide. I go, okay, I can do that.
And Menhoza says, I don't know how he made it as kid. Oh, dude, I'm with you. Like, and I'm not just talking about like skateboarding and jumping down steps and doing handrails. But even before I was a skateboarder, like the amount of stupid things that we did. We used to climb up into the school behind my house all the time. Mm-hmm. And again, I would say, sometimes I would jump off of not the top of the school, but there was an overhang that was about 10 feet high. Mm-hmm. I would jump off it. But even if you didn't, to get off the top of the roof, you'd hang down and then you just drop against a brick wall.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't know how many times you could bash your head against that. Yet we never did.
Yeah. No, we got into dumb shit. Let's say we broke into. I would say we broke into. We explored the convention center. No, where they had PowerCon at. We knew the inside and out of that building like no one's business. Like we would go in areas that we weren't supposed to go into. Like, it's just what we did. That was our entertainment. Like, sure, was it illegal to break into the convention center? Yeah, probably. Did we care? No, because it was fun.
Times are different, and we all grow up, and I hope most of us grow up, and maybe we don't do some of the things we used to do.
I'm a Toys R Us kid, baby. I don't grow up.
So after you graduate, you go into working, or you've already been working, but you said
still working. Yep.
You were talking about a video game store that.
Yeah. So we had this little video game store. I begged for like months to work at this place. I'm like, let me work here. This place is cool. I want to work here. So he finally said, okay, you gave me a job. I worked there. Oh man, like 6, 7 years.
Okay.
He made me a manager, and it was cool. Like selling video games, I'm buying video games and talking video games with like other video game people.
So were you into video games, or was it just?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So when did you get into video games?
I mean, I was always into it. It started back when I was a kid. Me and my brother played John Madden football on the Sega Genesis. He was always the Buffalo Bills before he decided that he's going to use San Francisco with Jerry Rice and Steve Young and whoop my ass every time. I was a very committed Dallas Cowboys fan at a very young age. No, not during the Super Bowl run. I was a fan before that.
I need to ask you about that because Tony Romo noticed that you were wearing a Cowboys.
Yes, I was a Cowboys fan like the year after Aikman got drafted, so about 1990. So right when that Madden came out on Genesis. I don't know why. I mean, the why is more the rivalry at the time between Dallas and Buffalo. Buffalo just couldn't beat Dallas. And I'm like, well, this is the team I'm going to pick. You can't beat Dallas. I learned to find out that I can't beat him because he kicked my ass for 7 years until I learned how to play this game, and then I got my revenge. But that was our silver rivalry. We would play John Madden football. He would be the Bills, I would be the Cowboys, or he would be the 49ers, I would be the Cowboys, and we would just play.
Okay.
And that turned into I think after that I had gotten Super Nintendo, maybe. I got into playing Mario, and as I got my own money, I bought my first PlayStation. Yes.
Say Cowboys 3 times and Tony Romo shows up. Can
Let
you
me
believe
tell
that this guy's name is actually Tony Romo? He was a fan of the Cowboys before that half-witted average quarterback played for him. And that's what he is. He was average.
In comparison to all the other quarterbacks that were on that team after the debacle of 96, I mean, he was the best one.
Okay, well, that's like saying, when people, Matthew Stafford was actually pretty good, but that was like trying to say someone was the best Lions quarterback since Bobby Lane. Someone had to be the best. It didn't mean they were good.
No, Tony Romo definitely was the best. Drew Bledsoe, no. Aaron, whatever the fuck his name, Aaron Carter, Aaron Jimmy Smith, John. I don't even remember his name.
But Drew Bledsoe was a better quarterback than Tony Romo in his prime.
No.
When he played for the Pats, he was a better quarterback. I'm not
saying when he played for them, he played like garbage for Dallas, but he was also he was older. I give him that.
Yeah. All I've tried explaining to Tony is that he wasn't that good of a quarterback. The best exactly. Yes, that's it. The best Bears quarterback ever.
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
come on.
Hey, the Bears have been to a Super Bowl and won one. So,
yeah, come on. Best Bears quarterback ever. You might as well just start. You might as well just lump the Bears and the Browns together at this point. They can't figure it out.
Well, right now, yeah. But I'll say it again. Until recently, the Lions were the worst run sports organization.
Oh God, yeah.
When you would tell people that they haven't won until last year, they'd only won one playoff game since 1957. People go, bullshit. You had Barry Sanders. I go,
yeah,
yeah.
He had a shit line.
And Herman Moore. Yep.
Yeah.
Go look at the record.
Herman Moore, Marvin Harrison. I mean, they had weapons. Man. They had weapons. They just couldn't get it done.
Yep.
That offensive line was terrible. Their defense was okay. It wasn't the greatest, but they were okay.
They had some pretty good offensive line, even though Barry Sanders didn't use them.
No.
He just ran around everyone.
And they couldn't catch him.
I know.
and that's why I love the debate that I have with most people when most people find out I'm a Cowboys fan, they go straight to, that Emmitt Smith is not the greatest quarterback of all time. It's Barry Sanders or it's Walter Payton. And look, I'm not arguing you. I never said that Emmitt Smith was the greatest running back of all time. Emmitt Smith had the greatest offensive line that made him a really good running back. You put that offensive line with Walter Payton, with Barry Sanders, with really you pick any running back, any of them, behind that offensive line, they would be God.
But I'll say this, and I understand the argument because I've had the discussion, and I'm not really a Lions fan anymore. I follow them. They're the team in my city. I don't wear any paraphernalia of them. And again, if people say, well, that's just because they sucked. Yeah, I gave up on them in the early 2000s after Peyton Manning, after Edgerrin James was drafted because I was like, the Lions just can't get it right yet. I said the Colts should have drafted Ryan Leaf. I was wrong. Then they drafted Edgerrin James over Ricky Williams, right? And I was like, and yet they kept me, and I'm like, the Lions will never, and I was done with them. So before anyone says anything, hey, even when Michigan sucks, I'm a Michigan football fan. I don't really care about college basketball, right?
I mean, at least you got that one consistency, though. I mean, Michigan is always going to be, they're going to be good no matter what.
Well, for the most part. But what I'm saying is I won't jump on the bandwagon, but I definitely do watch. I know exactly what's going on, and I hope for everyone here because wow, they are just decimated. But I understand why Lions fans will instantly say Barry's better because that's all that they had
Yeah,
for
yeah.
so long.
Yeah.
And I know Barry doesn't understand, but it was like when he quit, and he quit, he didn't retire, he flat out quit. That rushing record, which he would have put away, that was all Lions fans had.
Yeah.
And he basically said, "Fuck you guys."
Yep. Yep. I'm not doing this shit no more. I gotta go.
But you know, I always Barry Sanders is the greatest pure runner of all time.
Yeah.
And it's not even an argument. He did things that no one, but was he the greatest running back? He wasn't the greatest blocker, but he wasn't bad. He didn't catch great. But everyone can say that Emmitt Smith just had this great offensive line, and he did. But you still have to be good.
I mean, well, for that argument, I mean, that Dallas team had probably the most well-built offense. You had that wall of the offensive line. You had international business. Hey,
the University of Michigan has a lot of great stuff. All right.
But I mean, you got Troy Aikman as your QB1. You had Michael Irving. You had Daryl Johnston. Like, you had multiple pieces that were all good on that offense. It just made Emmitt Smith's job so much easier.
Oh yeah.
To make the argument that he is, if not the or one of the greatest running backs.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever say of all time because it's not true, but he's a great running back. But he's great because of what pieces were brought to the table to make him good.
But you know what? You're a hockey fan. There are, and I hate the argument about Chris Osgood. Hey, did you ever see who played in front of him? Yeah, I saw a lot of great. I've seen a lot of great teams that have crappy goaltenders, and they didn't. No one ever says, hey, Martin Brodeur, he had a pretty damn good defense. You remember they played the trap? Like, nobody even shot on them.
Yeah.
And I think he's probably the best goaltender of all time.
I mean, I'd argue Patrick Waugh.
Patrick Waugh, I mean, again, I'm not going to argue that he's not Pat Roy. But I think Marty Brodeur was, because of what he had to do, he also didn't have Spider-Man, the Spider-Man wings. But for some odd reason, when it comes to Chris Osgood, who won 3 Stanley Cups and backstopped 2, should have won 4, but good fucking Lord, I can't believe they lost to Pittsburgh that year. It still bugs me. It still hurts. People will say, well, he had Nick Lidstrom in front of him. There were other goaltenders that had Nick Lidstrom in front of them, and they didn't win. Yeah. But
that's what I miss about, like, 90s hockey, man. Like, you don't have that enforcer anymore.
Nope.
Like, you knew when, like, Chris Chelios or Darren Hatcher are on the ice, one, you about to get lit up, and there's going to be a fight that's going to ensue somewhere in the period. Like, I loved watching. Like, it was hard to watch because, you're watching on TV and you can't find what's happening. But, like, hockey was amazing then. Just the pure joy of watching it. Like, to the point now, like I said, my son, well, he's trying to debate whether he wants to play next year or not. He keeps bouncing back and forth, but he loves hockey. He loves going to the games.
That's an expensive thing to be like, I'm not sure if I want to do it or not. Like,
trust me, I know. I know. It's $900 for a season.
All right, please go over, order some toys, use code.
Please. Jesus.
No,
Lord, like,
but, and I know we're off track, guys, and we're talking sports ball here. But the other thing, and I know they wanted to get fighting out of hockey, and it's like, why? Have you ever seen a fight and nobody stood up? No. What is the greatest regular season hockey game of all time? It was the Avs versus Red Wings when they had that huge fucking brawl.
Yeah, the bloodbath.
Yeah, there was nobody. It was March 26th. I know the date. When anything pops up around that date, I'm like, hey, I remember where I was at. it changed the tide. It turned the Red Wings into this powerhouse.
Oh,
I mean, they were a powerhouse before, but everyone wanted to legislate it out of it. It's like, but see, hockey players have weapons. They're literally all carrying weapons.
Yeah.
So you need that enforcer. But, you know, you look back in the day, like Brendan Shanahan, he was a goal scorer, but he would fight.
Yeah.
You know, you had great, you know, you didn't just have goons. That's kind of what it got into now. I mean, I don't really watch it too often anymore, but that's kind of how it turned into now. And it was like, they just have goons that will fight. And yet nobody wants that. You want someone who can fight. You want some of these goal scorers that are big guys that can also fight.
Yeah, I mean, it sparks excitement in the crowd too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was a season ticket holder for the Blue Jackets for a couple of years. You know, we go to 11 games a year. We're guaranteed 11 games. If they made the playoffs, then we were guaranteed, you know, 1 game. And, like, when they're losing, it sucks. It sucks being at a game when they're losing. But when that fight breaks out, man, the crowd goes nuts. And it's just it just sucks now that it's not. I mean, I know they do it to protect players. You know, you let them fight, but, like, you know, once they hit the ground, you stop.
Yeah.
But, man, you know, give me something. Give me something to hold on
But,
to.
you know, you need it. You need to know that, you know, back in the day, if you went after Yzerman or Gretzky, there was someone that was coming for you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, again, I know most of you probably don't care about hockey or whatever, but in 96, when the Wings broke the record for the most wins, they lost to the Avs in the playoffs to not even make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. And you know what? The Wings were a more talented team. The Avs were a better team. End of story. But when Lemieux crushed Draper's face into the boards, and it was a cheap shot.
Oh, yeah.
And only giving him 2 games was wrong. You knew that come next year, eventually someone had to stick up for him. And, you know, you listen to McCarty talk about it, and he said, I just was lucky enough to get lined up with him. Now, don't get me wrong. He was waiting for it.
Oh, yeah.
And, again, that was March 26th. If you don't know what I'm talking about, even if you're not into hockey, go look up March 26th, Detroit Red Wings versus the Colorado Avalanche, and watch that game.
So much blood.
And it was so good. And you know what you know the other thing that happened in that game that people don't realize? That was Mike Vernon's 300th win.
Okay.
He talked about it because they won in overtime when McCarty actually scored. And he talked about it. He goes, you know, a lot of people don't realize that was my 300th game, but at the end of the game, where I think he said like Roy was on, you know, because he got scored on, he shot the puck down to him because he knew that it was the 300th win. So he's like, he shot the puck over to me, which is cool. Like that shows like
it's respect.
But anyway, enough about that. I can go on and on. Like,
oh yeah,
those were some good years for the Red Wings. Good years being a Detroit fan.
So I was a Stars fan. I'll always be a Dallas Stars fan.
Psycho Eddie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was. I get that question a lot too. It's like, well, how are you a Dallas Stars fan and you live in Columbus? Like, well, there was no such thing as the Columbus Blue Jackets when I started watching hockey. And I have an older brother who was born in Austin, Texas, who liked the Dallas Stars. So I naturally gravitated to the team he liked, which is the only team that we really shared a mutual like for.
So
all sports.
So your brother is born in Dallas?
Yes. Austin.
So
yeah.
So he's a Dallas Stars fan, which, if anyone realizes, Dallas Stars are actually from Minnesota because they were the North Stars.
The North Stars. Yeah.
But he wasn't a Cowboys fan?
I hated the Cowboys.
That is weird.
Hated.
I mean, okay.
He's come to admit later in life that he liked them.
It's already strange.
He hated
it's
them
already
because
strange
I
enough
liked them.
when again, I live in Detroit, when black people like hockey. It's like this weird anomaly, and I don't understand why. So when you told me, I was like, that's awesome.
I just liked sports.
Yeah.
I didn't at the time. I didn't really realize that there weren't many black hockey players. I just saw a sport with people just hitting each other against boards and getting to these awesome fights. I'm like, well, shit, that's the kind of sport I want to watch. And I mean, that's just kind of how it started.
It's so funny because when people watch hockey, they're like, wow, this is really fun. Like, it's action the whole time.
Yeah.
There's,
I mean,
you know,
very
when
few
you get to
downtime.
understand what checking is and forechecking and fighting. And nobody wants cross-checking. No one wants people getting hit in the head with sticks and everything like that. But, you know, and when people get into it, and especially when they watch playoff hockey, they're like, oh, wow, there's nothing, there's no intensity like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that Stanley Cup means more that Stanley Cup means more to them than any other championship for any other league.
Yep.
Because it's that cup.
That's
They
how
put
I
new
knew
rings on it. And then
that's
those
how I knew
rings.
my son liked hockey. When we took him to his first hockey game, he lit up. Like just watching his face, watching these players on the ice doing their thing, like that next moment he's like, I want to play hockey. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. You got to learn. And like when we signed him up, because like they have the Blue Jackets sponsor a little league hockey thing here. So like for $200, you get to learn to play hockey. So they give you all the gear, skate, stick, everything you need to start. I'm like, well, that was a beat a sweat off my head. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta buy all this stuff.
You're already ahead,
right? He's expecting like he's gonna go on the ice and he's gonna start playing hockey. Like his first like little learn to play process. They're out there and they learn how to like the super basic, like how to skate and how to start to stop and all this. He's like, Daddy, I thought I was playing hockey. I'm like, you are. It's like this, like, where's the game at? Like, no, this is how you learn. You got to learn the basics, then you get to play. 2 years later.
Well, I've watched. I mean, I've been skateboarding for how long? I've watched so many people that can do tricks, but they don't know how to ride a skateboard. And you're like, you started riding a skateboard, and all you want to do was like a kickflip, and it's like, there's basics. Like it's technically called an ollie kickflip, but you just want to learn how to kickflip. You don't want to learn how to ollie up a curb. It might help because you want to be able to pop up on that curb by itself. You have to learn the basics, and like kids don't have the patience. They just they talk about it now in basketball. They just want to shoot the three. They just want to shoot the three. Well, can you hit a free throw?
Cool
What?
They made it cool to shoot a three. Like shooting a three back in like the 90s or early 2000s it was a thing, but it wasn't like a thing. Until Steph Curry came around. Now everyone's shooting threes.
Yeah, he changed the game, and now everyone thinks they can shoot them, and like they talk about it all the time. Not everyone can, so you need to stop.
Oh, yeah.
You're 7 feet tall. You should be down at the bottom.
I'm listening to Shaq. He's like, I like to go out and I shoot the three with my son, and I made one of 32 shooting threes. Like, first off, Shaq, shut up. Listening to you talk is like watching paint dry.
Oh, I used to hate Shaq, but man, that guy, that is truly a guy that realizes he has money, he's blessed, and he will help. He gives back. He will buy for people.
He bought. There was a video that was on where he bought. It was a lady buying stuff for Christmas. He bought. Yep. Not only did he buy what she had, he told her to go back and buy more.
Yep.
To provide a Christmas to her family.
And you know what? The thing I like him, and again, I didn't like him. I did not like him watching play basketball, and I couldn't stand him. Like, you just bit, but then you hear how humble he is about this, and he doesn't go around bragging about it like other people. Hey, I did this. Like, he'll talk about it if someone brings it up, but he's not walking out looking for the first camera, going, just so you guys know, this is what I did for this lady. He just does things for people.
Basketball, I eliminate the free throws and bring in the power play. I'm down with that. I mean, hell, half of them can't shoot free throws anyway. So actually, that would be kind of cool though. You have like a 5-on-4.
You'd have it for like a minute because you couldn't be like it couldn't be till the first time you score and then the person comes back in because everyone's score is going up and down. So you'd have to go for like a minute. 2 minutes would be too long, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We go 5-on-4 or 3-on-5. I mean 3-on-5 on basketball.
Oh yeah, that would be that would be some stuff they would do for like an all-star game. They should try it out. Yeah. I would love just to see it like how it would work.
Let me say this for all the non-hockey fans, and you'll understand this. When they're on the power play and it's a 5-on-3, that means there's 2 people in the penalty box. When the team that's down plays that triangle perfect, like the old Red Wings used to in the 90s, it is a thing of beauty. To watch the way they rotate and make sure that the 5 players don't get shots on, it is a beautiful thing. Like it's weird because now you're becoming a total nerd. I used to, especially when you see Nick Lidstrom out there and you're like, good luck, guys.
Mm.
There's a reason why he was called the perfect human. Is he ever out of position? No, he's just not.
No.
Anyway.
Always in the right place.
So we go back to this video game store. You said you went there.
Yes.
You worked there for 6-7 years, became a manager.
Manager.
Now, during this time, have you started collecting?
Well,
other than video games,
just video games, new systems. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I got back into collecting toys. Oh, Lord, what was this 2020? So probably like 2015, 2013, somewhere in there.
So what about Ted? Are you working there with Ted or
no?
Okay.
So Ted has always been. He was always in he was at McDonald's. He was a manager at McDonald's for as long as I can remember. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that he ended up like hating McDonald's, I think he would still be there right now. Probably in some big corporate role, like McDonald's.
As long as he doesn't have to leave the Columbus area.
Right. Or, I mean, as long as he doesn't have to drive out of it. You can fly him wherever you want, but he ain't driving nowhere.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, I mean, he would probably still work at McDonald's to this day. But like the guy that I worked for was super cool. I'm like, hey, I want to open up my own video game store. Me and a buddy that works at his other store is like, hey, let's do this together. Come to find out, during this process, this dumbass goes and gets married and leaves with his wife to Florida, leaving me and his cousin to try and finish opening this video game store. So we did it. We figured it out, and it went well. You learn a lot when you try to open something for the first time and you don't have all of the know-how. Like, I could sell anybody anything. I can. I'm a natural salesman. I've been a natural salesman for years. But to try to open up a business on something that's so niche like video games, because at the time it was booming, not so much now. Everything's digital, so like you had to learn to evolve. I didn't learn that part. I learned, set this shop up, make it because you had GameStop, you had Hollywood Video, you had a bunch of other little local shops, but nothing really big. I learned as I did this business. And then I had a guy like, hey, I like what you're doing. You thought about selling what you have. And at that time, I'm already like, I'm probably gonna get out of this. Like I see what's happening.
Yeah.
It's like right when PlayStation 3 and Xbox was coming out with like the digital system and like their digital play. I'm like, people are not gonna be buying hard media. So I sold it. I sold it to a guy, and I made my money and then some. Which was great at the time. To come to find out, the guy completely tanked the business. Like he had less of an idea of what he was doing than what I had. At least I had a foundation because I worked for a guy in the business. I knew what to do operationally. I just didn't know how do I get from part A, running a business, to how do I see 5 years in the future? I didn't understand that part. I was so tunnel vision, like, tomorrow I gotta open up the store. I gotta order these video games that are coming out next week, order these CDs and movies and all this stuff that's coming. Buy this product from this guy that's gonna bring me like 300 DVDs. I gotta figure out how much he wants to buy them for. Like, that stuff was always on my mind. How do you evolve a business 5 years later was nowhere in the playbook here. So when I sold it, it was a great learning experience. I had my own business. I learned from it, and I went back into the working world. I worked for Sears for 10 years. Closed down 2 of the stores here, and then once that closed, I just kind of like hopped around at jobs. I worked at Walmart for a little bit. I worked at Tim Hortons. I worked for the company I work for now. But I always wanted to get back into owning my own business because, I want to work for me. I want to set my schedule. I want to have my days off. I want to do things that working for corporate America would not allow me to do. So I always, I sold things on eBay and Mercari. I've been doing that for probably 15 years now.
Okay.
Go to Target and Walmart, buy clearance stuff, going to yard sales and garage sales and buying stuff that people are just trying to get rid of, and I'd flip it. That was my game. And like I said, I got really good at it because I know how to sell things. I learned what people want to buy or what people are looking for. I go hunt for it. I go get it. I go sell it. Ted started doing it. I taught him pretty much everything I knew how to do, like how to list it, how to price it right, how to package it, how to send it out. I taught him all that. And then he started getting good at it. And he's like, hey, I have this idea. We're at PowerCon. Like, the whole point of going to PowerCon that year was for him to try and like get some vendors. I think he had just got his LLC, his sole proprietorship, and he was doing stuff with Boglins. That was his big thing when he got with Entertainment Earth. And I'm like, look, Ted, like he presented me a whole thing. He showed me all of his numbers. He's like, this is what I'm doing. I'm like, well, that's what you're doing with what you got. I mean, let me show. With what I'm doing, we should be able to, let's combine together. And we put a plan together. We created Hella Dope Toys really in one day. That last Sunday of PowerCon in 2022, we put our minds together. We had a couple beers and said, let's do it. And Hella Dope Toys was born off of an idea of reselling online.
Right, but we'll get to that. But before that, listen, you bounced around. When did you start dating your now wife?
Shit. When did we start dating? 2012? Somewhere around 2012.
Okay.
So we both used to work at Sears.
All right.
So that's how we met. And then we hung out a lot, and my car got repossessed, and I needed a ride to work, and she would take me to work. And from that moment on, we just hung out a lot, and then we started dating, and here we are, 11.
Nothing says I'm financially responsible. Like, hey, my car got repossessed. Could you take me out? Hey, and afterwards, why don't we go out on a date?
Well, I mean, the preference, the repossession. So like the job that I had prior, I was making a lot of money. I was making a lot of money. So like, my car payment was ridiculous.
I get it.
And when I switched to working in retail, that's a huge pay cut. And I'll figure it. My thought is always, we'll figure it out. You gotta figure it out.
I know the feeling.
Unfortunately, I couldn't figure it out fast enough.
All right, so you meet in 2012. She has kids, correct?
She had two.
She has two kids. You didn't have any before her, correct?
Right.
Right. So you said you started collecting around 2015. So how did you get into collecting, and how did she accept it?
I don't know if she ever accepted it. Did you ever accept my collecting habits? She's sitting down here, by the way.
I put two and two together.
So let's talk about the thing that I was collecting at the time. So I was collecting Funko Pops. That was my thing.
Okay.
I started with like the sports line. So I got all the like Dallas Cowboy ones that were out. A couple of Chicago Bulls like Jordans that were out, and then I got into like the stuff that was I liked. Like I mean, I was into Harry Potter. I was into Star Wars. I started going to Hot Topics and everything. I'm buying things. Then I found out that these things certain things are worth money. So I started like focusing on like whole collections. So like I had like the entire first 36 Harry Potter Funko figures. First in line. I had them all. And whatever chases that were available at the time. I had them all. To the point I had a staircase. They were lined up on the staircase. I had a table that was against this back wall. Like imagine this wall that has figures on it now. These are all Funko Pops.
Okay.
Like I had so many. I think at one point when I logged them all, I had about 750 Funko Pops.
Wow.
At one time. And then I started dwindling them away. I think I probably have maybe 30 right now. And they're like in a box. I don't even know what they are right now. I think Power Rangers and sports is what I have left.
Give me one second here.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
And Woody 222 with the $9.99 super chat lurking tonight, but a great interview. Punk, Aaron is killing it. Nice jobs. Homie, thank you very much. And Aaron always gets the he was sending me super chats to like do fart noises because he's like, my wife hates it and she's listening right next to me. All right, so you're collecting these Funko Pops. No, you didn't really say how Bethany accepted it.
I don't know if I don't think she ever did. I really she didn't. I don't think at the time she didn't have a choice. Like it's there.
But you weren't doing it before, so it wasn't like if I met someone now, they're coming into the relationship understanding that I have an issue.
I think she knew I had an issue way before this. I mean that was just part of the territory. Like, okay, yeah, you got problems, and well, you got all these Funko Pops. I guess No, here's the thing. She has her own little collection.
Okay, so that's another thing.
So she has some of her own. Like she's getting into some of the things that I collect, but not as heavy.
But did she collect before?
Did you collect anything prior to us dating? Keychains. She collected keychains.
Okay, so she has. I mean, usually less expensive than the stuff that we collect.
Yes.
But I mean, I know my ex. She never I wasn't really collecting when we were together. Obviously, having two kids and not a lot of money, but she didn't collect anything, so doesn't understand. Which is to me one of the. I don't want to be with somebody that just does everything that I do.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of understand it to accept it.
Yeah.
So it's good that she collected and understood.
Yeah, she got it. I mean, I think once I would buy her little things like I got her like the Disney. They came out with a line with like the Disney princesses, the nerdy versions. So like like a nerdy Belle. Like I got her all those. She like things that she liked. I got her. But like for her is targeted things that she enjoyed.
Yep.
For me it was I need all of these to complete a collection. I'm a completist. Like I don't know, we were talking about it Sunday, like the movie Turtles. I have just about all of them except for really one, the one that I need, and it bothers me that I don't have it. Um, but then it's fine. I'll eventually get it. But like the Funko stuff, like it was a niche thing. It was like it was at the moment.
You're like, it's fine. It's fine. I don't. It's fine. I don't have it, but it's fine.
It's in my eBay cart right now. Don't worry.
You are lying, saying it's fine so bad.
Well, I haven't bought it yet, so it's okay for now. We'll see what 2025 brings.
I can see that twitch in you.
Yeah. But it's fine. It's great. It's fine. It's fine. Well, I mean, just like everything else that I collected, I eventually got out of it.
Okay.
So I got into Hot Wheels. I sold all my Hot Wheels. I got into comics. I sold all my comics. The Funko Pops, I've sold, about 85% of them. Sorry.
Aaron's dying here, guys. So
I am.
This may be his last live stream.
It might be. I think the only consistent that I always had was my wrestling figures. I always had them, some way, shape, or form. But like when you have your own toy store now, like it allows you to dive further into an obsession that you probably should not have.
Oh yeah.
I found Tatsu by accident. It wasn't even by accident.
What is Tatsui?
That was Shredder's right hand man.
Oh, okay. I would not have known that. I would have.
The guy that trains most of the foot.
So you started collecting again. When did you get into toys though? Like other than wrestling figures?
I didn't get back into collecting toys like what 2020, like COVID.
Okay.
COVID.
So the wrestling figures, you collected wrestling figures because they were wrestlers, nothing to do with action figures.
Right.
Okay.
It started off collecting my favorites. The Rock. I had the Rock, I had Triple H. I liked Rey Mysterio, Stone Cold. Like I had those. And then it just kind of grew because I'm like, I always have things in my mind. Like I would, if I was great at toy photography and like setting up scenes, like I have all these like scenes in my head that I would love to be able to like put into the world, but I'm horrible at it. But I loved wrestling. I will always have wrestling in my life. My son loves wrestling. My stepchildren love wrestling. Like at least they enjoy it, I think. So like, this is a wrestling house. Like if you don't like wrestling and it's on TV, get the fuck out. Sorry. Sucks to be you. but like everything else, like I say, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I mean, I'm first and foremost, I will always be a Marvel fan.
Okay.
I am a Marvel diehard. I mean, that is pretty much everything that's on, and it's dark. You can't really see it, but everything back here, this is all Marvel. Minus five things that are on this shelf. There's a Lego Ghostbuster Ecto 1, Millennium Falcon, some Last Ronin stuff, but everything else, it's all Marvel. And when Disney Plus did their thing, putting out their streaming service, I mean that really just kind of like helped build my more love of Marvel things because I can now watch the old Spider-Man like animated series and at the time X-Men before they did X-Men 97, like all the things I used to watch as a kid, and now I get to collect them, and now I have probably the easiest now way to feed my collecting addiction. And then then they got me to these little guys. Like I got some 118 stuff.
What? All right, so then when you're into collecting, so your son came along.
Yep.
Now, how are they? How are your kids when it comes to collecting toys? Do they understand it? Do they think it's cool? Do they not tell their parents that?
Um,
Now you own a toy store, so it's
yeah.
a little different.
Um, it's not. I mean, collecting for them, it's not so much like collecting. It's like for him, it's that play. You know.
Yeah, and there should be. That's why I don't like saying like I didn't collect GI Joe growing up. I played with GI Joe and Motu and Transformer. Wasn't collecting anything.
Yeah, he has a wide collection of things. You know, he has his wrestling figures, Fortnite figures. No, I don't even know what all he has now. He has a good amount of stuff, and he goes through waves just like every kid does. You know, like this week it's Bluey, next week it's something, but I think the one consistent with him, just like myself, is there's always going to be those wrestling figures somewhere
Okay.
in the car, in my wife's car, in the bathroom, in the tub. Somewhere there's a wrestling figure lingering around. So, you know, like we encourage. I think eventually he'll take his own path on where he wants to go with this. But you know, as long as I collect, I feel like he sees that I like it, and he'll probably end up doing the same.
So, so you're basically you still collect your wrestling, but basically you're a Marvel collector.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then I see,
it's evolved. It's evolved now. You know, obviously, you know, AWOC. I fell in love with AWOC at PowerCon. That's not a secret. I loved Thane, who's actually moved off my desk. He's actually back up there. I loved it. I'm loving some of these new independent companies that are out there. You know,
they're doing awesome stuff.
I got into Four Horsemen before I knew who Four Horsemen was. I got a lot of the knights. I got a couple of the horses now. I'm still trying to get my hands on some of the Savage Crucible stuff because I did get to fiddle with a couple of them, but you know, I don't have.
Feet are coming. I just got my notification that the feet for my figure were coming.
Nice.
The replacement feet, so he doesn't fall over.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, always something. I mean, always something. But I will have a love for my Marvel collection.
All right, so I got to ask here quickly, Bobby Bold. I was not ignoring you. I did star this. He said, "What do you think of the Bandito? Saw it on the Hella Dope site, but he just asked this. He said, all the stuff on your site, do you get to test out? I'd like to know more about the Bandito once it is out."
Some of the stuff on our site usually sells out before we get to mess with them. Some things we purposely order extras of just so we can have them. But not very many things that we get to really test out. I mean, some of the Joy Toy stuff, like I said, I've got a couple here on my desk. Ted had a couple of Delta 17s because we've done a couple of toy shows, so we wanted to display them and mess around with them so people could see what it's all about. But no, not really. To answer the first part of that question, not too many testing out. As for the Bandito, I will tell you currently, stay tuned. 2025 will bring some new guests to the show that we can answer more in depth to this question. I have some hope for the Bandito. One, because it's, you know, it'll be here locally. I mean, I have my Ramen Racer right over there. It's over there somewhere. I loved the idea of it. I love having a 1/12 scale car. I think the Bandito and everything that they are currently offering for it to do is a great idea. Like, it's fully customizable to whatever you want. And that's what makes it great to, like, if you love cars and being able to do things with them, this is going to be a great a great project that they need to get off the ground. How's that gonna happen? You got a pill to swallow, and I'm gonna keep it very brief because, like I said, I don't want to overstep some words here. For those who know the backstory of who they were, I'm gonna use the word "were." Take that out your mind, man. Everyone deserves a second chance in life. They are trying to put out things that people like, and they came to me and Ted with this idea, and we backed it. Like, look, I think this is a great idea, and we're only asking for $1 down. If the project launches and it goes in production, you'll get invoiced later, but you only put $1 down.
Now, isn't there another online toy store that also did the same thing with them? $1
Yes.
down. Okay.
So I mean, they went to Nerd Zurich first.
Okay.
And
I didn't want to say their name because
that's fine. I don't care. We joke about it, but
I know you guys do.
We
I
got
know you
respect
guys
for
do, but
we respect them.
they don't ship in one business day. One business day.
Oh no.
We are screwed. I'm sorry. That Moss man has screwed so many of us. I can never say "oh no" again. Just say "oh no." I have to correct myself or correct my kids or whoever.
Yeah, you have
Oh,
to
you
say
mean "oh no"?
You gotta say it in proper Moss man voicing. But the answer to the question, they watch our show, so they had an idea. I think they had something planned. They knew why they asked us. We do a weekly show. We talk about these things, and we happen to have a toy store, so it made sense to make this come together.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm hopeful. I'm usually not too hopeful about a lot of things. I'm very on the other side of the spectrum of not believing in things. But everything they've sent to us, like all the ideas, I'm on board. I wouldn't have put it on the website. I mean, I probably actually would have done it, but I wouldn't have done it if I did not think this is going to work.
Well, hopefully. I mean, again, if you're only asking for $1 down, and I have talked to someone about it, and they said this thing's supposed to be fully customizable. I watched Big Nerdy talk about it. But I mean, I have to say about the Ramen Racer. I mean, I reviewed it. I have had my fair share of things that I had to say about Ace and ramen toys. Not Ace per se, but ramen toys. That, hey, you need to start delivering, and he did. And I did the review, and there were people that commented that were car fans, and they were like, I have to say that I'm a car fan, and as a car fan, I'm amazed at the detail they got right.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully the Bandito does something very similar. So Ed here says,
I think the idea was that the Ramen Razor wasn't designed specifically for car fans. True diehard car fans. It was designed in the idea of, well, if the Engines of Vengeance isn't coming out, I'm going to do my version of it, and I want to produce it myself.
But the detail inside of it was, I mean, and that's what people said. Now, Aaron, I think that you were answering Darren's, like, no, you're not going to carry it. No. And I think in general, I mean, to me, I'm not you guys. You guys are both working out of your house. Vehicles are it's a big item to hold on to.
It is.
Yeah, not only space-wise, but are people going to buy it? And I'm glad you were able to get rid of all those stingers, because that's my biggest fear. I still see him sitting over at Sergeant Red's, and I feel like, obviously he has a huge store and now a warehouse. But I could imagine, considering what Entertainment Earth or Pulse, they had their little their sale, and if you remember, you put in the thing, you got it for $35 off.
Damn! Wow.
Yeah, that's huge.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that bread van is a red, whatever they want to call it. I mean, I saw it in person. I know how big the box is going to be.
Oh yeah.
I know
mean,
how big the Dragonfly box is. I know how big this RoboSkull box was.
I mean, I was surprised how big the box was for the Ramen Racer when it showed up. Like, that's a big box.
It is packed very nicely.
Mm.
You know.
I will give him that. That's it. I mean, how do I say this delicately? Because I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on anything. I mean, I'm about to, but maybe not in such a way. There are reasons why we're not going to carry the van. There's some things that need to get figured out, and I have reached out to said people about trying to get things figured out, because the amount of emails that I go through a day about certain questions, I can't answer them because I'm not getting the answers from the people whom I need to get the answers from. So currently, to answer that question, until things get sorted out, for now, we're going to hold on future projects.
And that's fine. You have to do what's best for your business. And again, I don't think you should have to answer more than hey, that's something that I really can't get into. We would love to carry it, but hey, just something we can't. I say the same thing about the G.I. Joe team when the Hooded Cobra Commander comes up. I'm not asking people to start asking about it, but the fact that they don't allow the G.I. Joe team to say, hey, we cannot make it. End of story. Leaves the speculation. They've never said that. I'm like, all right, but and I'm probably the most gullible one that says, oh my, and the next thing I know, I'm typing out and a response to like, we already know why. Right. But I mean, it does suck, especially if it's something you want to carry. But again, you don't have to get into more than that. Hey, you want to?
You know us. We try to be transparent as much as possible without completely opening the back door.
I mean, I can say this. I mean, I watch your show a lot. I've been in the chats a lot. In some ways, you kind of are like I am. No, I'm different when it comes to, because I'm doing YouTube. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I say way too much, and you think about it, and you realize I really should have said that. I think sometimes you guys do the same thing because you want to be as open and transparent as possible. You want to be like, hey, I'm trying to explain to you guys what's going on, why we're doing this. Yep. And I wouldn't be surprised that after the show, sometimes you may be like, man, I shouldn't have said anything. It's really no one's business. Mm-hmm. But that's understandable. I had to tell, I don't know if Coco Smooth, the casual collector, he would talk about, like, he's doing his reviews and he's talking about certain things, and he was like, I don't know how much they're going to charge you for it. I'm like, hey, don't say anything. It's no one's business what you pay for, If someone's going to give you a discount, it's none of their business. All I say is if you're doing reviews on something and they're given to you for free, I think you should be open about, hey, the manufacturer sent this to me. I just want you to understand. I'm going to be as just as honest as I always am, about the review, but I do want you to understand that I did not purchase this. Right. I mean, I even say that when, about stuff that Greg lets me, review and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think people love that. Yeah. But you also know how that could also.
that's why the drinking on stream has come down a lot. that opens up a lot of Pandora's boxes.
I honestly don't think that you ever said anything. Oz, yes, this is live. I can't, again, I don't watch, not like I watch every single minute of your streams and everything. But I've never really heard you say anything where you went too far.
Oh, no, I mean, it's mainly Ted over there, his Scorpio ways. Once he goes, he usually, like, I gotta tell him, like, hey, like, I don't mind airing out laundry, but the brand comes first. Protect the brand at all costs. Now, if you want to go on your Instagram or your YouTube page and you want to go spatter off about, that's on you, because that's over there. I mean, eventually it comes back here because it ties all together, but don't do that while we're live on YouTube.
No, I don't think Ted does it either. Although I loved his.
He does.
He did have his awesome. Everyone was feeling bad for Ted. Then I got this dog. We had to get rid of the dog again.
Oh,
She
yeah.
lost her job.
Yeah,
And
it
I'm
was
just like, I just couldn't stop. I just couldn't help myself. I'm like,
you know, sometimes you just gotta let him go in his
Right.
soapbox and let him have his moment.
but you know what? We've all been there, you know, and
Oh, yeah.
sometimes we need to vent. In all honesty, a lot of these people, and I don't want to insult anyone here that doesn't feel like this. A lot of these people we're friends with. And what I mean by we're friends with you, we've met in person, we've hung out, we talked to on the phone. So you feel like you're talking to your friends, but you also got to remember everyone else is listening to.
Yeah.
But when you want to vent, sometimes you just have to vent.
Right.
And I would be the last person. I would be the biggest hypocrite if I said, you shouldn't air your dirty laundry. You shouldn't just because God knows
you would never do that.
No. But again, by this point, I don't understand why people still want to fuck with me on shit like that. Like I said, I got no skeletons in my closet, man. So that's why I have no problem showing you all the stuff that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but let's get into Hello Dope Toys.
Right.
Okay. So you started in 2022.
Yes.
So
August specifically.
August? So just over 2 years old.
Yep.
All right. So how did this really come about? Because if I am correct, and maybe I thought Ted had already kind of started it, but then wanted to bring you on. Is that
no? So Hello Dope Toys was built on an idea. The idea was, well, I'm selling clearance stuff and yard sale stuff online, and he's getting into selling clearance stuff online. But the preference was, what do all these other companies have that we can provide that they're not doing? Everyone's selling toys or collectibles, statues, whatever it is. But what is the thing that's missing? The thing that's missing is you buy something, someone buy something right now. I don't care what it is. You buy it right now. Guess what's happening tomorrow morning? It's going to the post office. Or the mailman's coming to pick it up. The turnaround time is shorter. Now, we obviously know this is the busy shopping season of the year. Everyone's griping about, the post office, holding on to their packages and shipping it to another state and 2 other states before it gets to your state, or just not scanning anything off. I can't do anything about that. But when you buy something from us, it's going out the next day because we want you to be able to get your figure or your kid to get their figure as quickly as possible. But when I got into this, I had to do a lot of research on my own. This is a whole, selling on eBay and Mercari is way different than selling yourself and your merchandise to other people. So I had to learn some things, like how the logistics piece works. My advantage is that I've done it, but there's other things you need to figure out. So when Hello Dope Toys really, the first couple months were rough because Ted. When I tell you Ted gave me this whole spreadsheet, he had a whole presentation of how to sway me in, and I'm like, well, bro, this is November, so we're 3 months in, and nothing. I think the only person that bought something from us was my cousin, because he's a huge TMNT fan, and he wanted the Last Ronin. That was the first sale we ever got.
And you had stock? This was stuff that you... Okay.
No.
Oh, okay. So this was a pre-order.
These are all pre-order. So when the site got built, we built the site because we had to, because NECA, Four Horsemen, Entertainment Earth, all said you had to have a website or brick and mortar before we will come to terms with you. Well, we didn't have that. So, Ted whipped up this Shopify website. Everyone remembers that first iteration of the website.
Oh yeah, you want me to play the video where he talks about? It looks like they get all their hookers and blow.
Yeah, that's where we get it from, and we send it to the prince in Nigeria. But I mean, it served its purpose. It showed that we had a website, we had stuff on it. Now it was a bunch of clearance shit because that's what we had at the time. We needed to build a website. But then once we got the door open, I think who was it? Unboxing Art.
Yep.
And Cox Create over on that channel. They were like our second and third. So that kind of like made me feel a little bit better. Like, okay, well, we've got something going. We're still not there yet. We probably were averaging maybe 2 to 3 transactions a month up until November, December of 2022. Aaron does the Mossman. No, Ted does the Mossman. I mean, I could do it, but Ted does.
That is all Ted's creation. And hey, Tripwire, just so you know, go to their website. It's on your website, right? Or your YouTube. Go to your YouTube.
Yeah.
There's like 3 Mossman like videos that have nothing to do with the channel. All I did was I asked them if they could do a video, and I said, "Can I just have exclusive rights to Mossman?" That's the only reason why you only see it here. There's 3 other videos that were done before he ever did a commercial for me.
Yeah, it's called the Adventures of Skeletor. Love them.
So it's not even. So technically, it's not even Mossman.
No,
Yeah.
it's Skeletor's adventure, but like Mossman became such a bigger piece to the story.
Mossman is their Urkel.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
He was never supposed to be a mainstay in what was it, Family Matters.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever watched it, but I know Urkel.
Yeah, that was. I mean, he took a life of his own. Like it's
he sure has.
Oh yeah.
Considering I know there's people that probably are mad that they can't do a commercial with Mossman.
I would love to have Mattel be like, you know what, you guys are good. You can have that.
If they ever did a Motu like cartoon or anything, and Mossman was in it, the moment you'd hear the voice, you'd be like, "That's not Mossman's voice."
Oh yeah, like, who is this? Like, no, we're gonna copyright strike them. Yeah.
So anyway, back to
yeah. So the early stage of Hello Dope Toys was rough. November or December and January is really what, like, we got a rocket strapped to our back and we took off with a janky looking website, barely anything in stock at the time. But we made do with what we had. And then 2023 was kind of like our first year of what can we really do. And with that, we grew our vendor list. We doubled our vendor list, actually, at the time. Now we're getting tons of product in. We had so much stuff at one point, we didn't know what we were going to do with it. Obviously, the YouTube thing, we built the YouTube channel because we wanted people to know, one, who are you spending your money with? Like, have you ever met the guys the people who own Big Bad Toy Store?
I did it. I did it Joe Fest, but before that,
anyway, that's not important. Anyway,
no, but you're right.
No,
I only met them, and they were only there basically for Operation Monster Force,
right.
Like for all the stuff for Fresh Monkey Fiction. So you're
right, but the point being made is if it wasn't for that, you would never know who they were.
I don't know who Entertainment Earth is.
Right.
I didn't know who Dark Side was.
So for us, we had to put faces behind a brand. So that was the YouTube channel. And then we're like, well, we need to find other ways to integrate ourselves into this toy world. I don't want to use the other word because people it is what it is. We'll say world. So that's when we started integrating ourselves into all of your channels. You know, yours, Rocco the Great, whoever else, YouTube channels that talk about toys. We're in your chats. We're talking amongst the people.
It's smart. Like that's how I built. That's how when I decided. I mean, I did reviews, but I never, I didn't take it serious. I was just showcasing, comparing stuff, right? But that's how I did it here. Like I would go into other chats. I wouldn't talk about that I have a channel, but I would talk enough that hopefully someone would want to find, oh, who is this guy? Like, and what you said about placing a face with your brand. When I decided that I wanted to just review the figures, there's a specific reason why I talk into the camera before I do the review. I want people to know who I am. I want people to see me. No one knows who Bobby B is, and that's fine. Bobby B doesn't care. He does live stream. He'll come on live streams if you're asking him to. But I actually wanted that on there. Like I wanted people to know who the hell they're talking to, and I think I thought it was a brilliant idea because you want people to know, and it's great.
Well, I mean, for a while, I mean, it was just Ted. Ted did it all. Like, you think Ted's like some magical like elf that's doing all these things at one time, and that wasn't the case. So we were like, look, hey, that was the reason why we really built the YouTube channel. It was kind of like a two-side front. One, put faces behind the brand, but like two, to let people know, like, hey, there's someone else doing this too, and that person's me. Like all the answers to your emails were norm at 3 a.m. That was me. Or like all the listings for the website. I do those. Like Ted takes care of like the maintenance piece. I list everything. I purchase everything. Like
he's told me.
Yeah. I feel like it's more me now. Well, whatever. I'll give Ted his due. But that was the true reason. Like let's put people into our world. Like let them know who we are.
You know what else it does? It makes people not only order from you, but it's kind of like, well, if I order from them and they decide they're going to screw me, everyone's going to hear about it because they're right there. I'm not saying you would, but it makes you feel better because it's like, well, every Sunday these guys are there.
Yeah.
So, if you guys were, screwing people on their orders, those people are going to be in the chats going, hey, these guys never sent me the stuff and they took the money for it. Yeah. It's been 3 weeks. It's been 4 weeks.
Oh,
so I think it's great.
You still get that too, but it's like, people don't understand. Let's air this out since we're on this subject. I am a retailer. I am not a distributor. I am not a manufacturer. So I'm not, BBTS. I'm not Walmart or Target with big pocketbooks to get, things early. So I read all your. I try to respond to all your emails and things of that nature. But like when you ask, hey, where's this? I don't know. I truly don't. I don't know what to tell you. Like it's in China. It's on a boat somewhere. It's in creation. The distributor under ordered or the manufacturer underproduced, aka the Arctic Bat, which is now being infinitely pushed back for a rerun. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that conversation come up again, I think last week.
Yeah. I mean that is probably the number one question, because it is the oldest transaction that we currently have that has yet to be fulfilled.
And you're not the only one.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, everyone that has taken orders for Arctic Bat is in the same boat.
Man, Jose says they blew my money on blowing hookers. It's true. I knew it.
Damn right. What do you think I want to do after this stream?
Tatsy wants to know what shipping service you guys use.
Majority USPS. Just because we have worked out a good working relationship for shipping rates. If you're international, we have a couple different people that we use. It just kind of depends on where you are in the world. Unfortunately, our Canadian friends, your postal service is on strike, so I cannot help you there.
Yeah, and John here from Sergeant Reds here in Michigan, he said, "Yep, the order of my snow bass are pushed back." And I think you guys order from the same company, so
Yeah, Infinity is not. I don't even know if that's the word anymore. Like
infinity and beyond.
I would rather them just tell me it's not coming. It's just not coming, and I'll just refund everybody their money because, like, I don't want to answer this question anymore. I really hate that question. Where's my Arctic bat? I don't know. Go to China. That's where it's at. Go there. Go send them an email.
It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. I mean, especially what they, especially what that they know that that they know this. And I don't know if you want to answer this.
Oh, well, the beginning we were with Entertainment Earth, and now we have switched over to Diamond.
Sounds about right.
I mean,
and that's what I tell you.
As a small company, to get in with Hasbro, to get in with Mattel, and all these, you have to order so much that you can't do it unless, like I said, hey, me, Sergeant Reds, and another store, we're going to combine together to satisfy Hasbro direct order. That's the only way you can do it.
Yeah.
Unless you have the pocketbook to do it. And I mean, if you're a small store trying to make the ends meet, you're not going to do it. So you have to go through a third party distributor, Entertainment Earth,
and who's big enough to do what you're saying? BBTS and Entertainment Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Walmart and Target and GameStop and stuff like that. But online, Big Nerdy's not, right? Nerdzoic's not.
I don't know his true financials. I mean, I'm going based off the video he did last year.
Yeah, but I don't think he's big enough to order that much from Hasbro direct.
From Hasbro directly? No, I don't.
Or Mattel, because I heard Mattel is very difficult to deal with too.
Yes, I have a very nice email from them. Like Joy Toy. Like Joy Toy is the one I've been really trying to get. I've been trying so hard, but for them, like, you have to order 10 grand of in stock stuff.
John wants to know what's Hasbro's minimum. I've never been able to talk to them direct.
Oh, dude, I got a hold of Hasbro by complete luck. It's in my email. I can send it to you. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, they want. I think they want like. I'd have to search.
I'm going to send his email. Or send your email, because I know you wanted to talk to them and have. Again, it's not direct competition because you guys are in Columbus, Ohio, and they're in Utica, Michigan. So, but yeah, I think
it's ridiculous. I'm gonna tell you that.
And again, but it's crazy to think like it's kind of understandable in some ways when you think of who they are, Mattel and Hasbro. But at the same time, like, why are these bats not made? And again, we know there's reasons. There is logistics, but they just made, this bat right here. So we know they have the mold going. So why wouldn't you just make more, considering people want them, and there's orders that were already put in?
Yeah, so that's where that behind the scenes piece kicks in. So here's what happens. I'll give you you're Entertainment Earth. I am me. You call me and you say, hey, Aaron, this is Puckle Toys, your rep. Arctic bats are going to be hot. I'm like, how hot are we talking? Like snow melt hot? You'd be like, bruh, we're talking North and South poles melting. Like that. Put me in for 9 cases. Okay. So then you put in, I say 9 cases. You submit that to Hasbro. Hasbro says, okay, well, we produced 150,000. I have orders for 390,000. Okay, that's 240,000 that are not produced, but you have orders for. So now you got a choice to make. Do I produce the other 240,000? Do I say screw you and this is what I made and you're just gonna have to deal with it? Because you know what's gonna end up happening. Even if they said we're done, we're not done, we're done. Oh well, here's a Arctic Bat V2 re-release. What the fuck? It's got one extra weapon. There you go. There's your V2 version. Get out of here. Why don't you just make the 240,000 that was already ordered? Like, I honestly want to take all my emails about this question. I want to send it straight to Hasbro. You guys answer this question. You do that.
They won't even help out their own designers on their own brands, let alone you guys.
Oh yeah.
But again, I can only imagine how frustrating that is. Again, John is here now. I've been in the shop when he gets phone calls or when people come in and ask questions, and they just expect him to know everything. And there's certain answers that you just can't answer because they're not they're out of your hands. I don't know why it's not here.
I don't. And and it's funny because a lot of them think like, oh, you just don't want to answer it. I know what my contract with my distributors say. You think for 1 second I'm not going to tell you where your stuff is? Like, what do I have to hide? Like, I'm not hiding, 45 Arctic Bats in my garage just to be like, great, excellent. When the price goes up, I'm going to sell them all for double price. No, I don't want them.
You are hoarding them like you hoarded toilet paper.
Hey, wait a minute.
That's how you started Hella Dope Toys.
I did that. That was a thing. I was working at Walmart at the time, and when that shipment came in, I'm like, I need those. And I always had like 2 12-packs in my trunk just in case.
Okay, well, again, that's different. That's different than having. That's different than having so many.
Hey, wait! You got 23. I might need like 10 of those. Yeah, and
he just might.
I'm serious. I need them,
dude. I don't. I haven't seen his house, but I was told that how they just got a warehouse. I mean, they are buying so much, so many lots, and it's crazy. I haven't seen
that's if you want a little sneaky peek of what 2025 is like, that's going to be one of our new business adventures, buying collections.
Okay.
Buy, sell, trade, baby.
I'll talk to you about that. So that's something you want. Is that something you're going to be you are doing in 2025, or something you want to?
It's a work in progress.
Okay.
Not officially on the books, but it is something that we are looking into making a thing for other reasons.
Okay. So is there any more? I mean, I know you guys said you want to open a brick and mortar store.
But that is still on the front of our minds.
But there's nothing definitive yet.
Right now, it's a location, finding the building, all those things are just not. They're not in play yet. Like they're asking for some ridiculous prices around here.
Ted wants to know if you want his Mighty Mugs.
Maybe
you want stuff that sells. So now
I'll bedazzle it.
Now, are you looking to open up in Columbus?
Yes.
Okay. Now, isn't there another big toy store in Columbus?
Yes.
All right. So my question is, do you think that do you feel there's enough room in the collector space in Columbus to have two stores?
There's always room. Here's the thing with that question. The thing with the question is, not everyone carries always the same thing.
Sarge says he has Boglins and handmade robots for sale.
I got a whole stack of Boglins right here.
I know. Believe me,
I can't even throw them in people's cars.
when Boglins come up, it's pretty funny. And actually, when I was when we went in there to do the video for the streamathon that I did, someone bought a Boglin, and I was like, "Man, someone actually bought a Boglin." He was like, "I know."
Yeah. I mean, they're cool.
Yeah, but I think he got the same issue that you guys did.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a mini stroke when they did.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Ain't no joke, man. But yeah, I mean, there's room. The issue is the grand scheme is not like they carry things that we don't carry. We have the ability of things that they don't carry.
okay.
So, and the distance that we're looking at to open a store versus where they are is far enough where we don't really impact them. Like there's a place called Hobbies Galore, where they're located. Like we would be distantly apart enough from everyone else that everyone would be able to thrive.
I'm listening.
Oh, you're good. But yeah, but that's still kind of in the works. I mean, this is not like something that's happening tomorrow. I mean, this is more maybe late in the year, maybe pushing it to 2026. Just the stars has got to align correctly, and if it doesn't align, we're not going to do it.
Yeah. So Sarge says, and I asked this for specific reasons. He says, I have one close enough to piss on from the side of my lot. He is not lying.
Okay.
There is literally a toy store right next to him.
Oh, wow.
I mean, technically, he couldn't piss on it. But you come pretty close. You probably get it in the parking lot. And again, I actually really like that guy too. I know he doesn't have an issue with him either, but I have a lot of good toy stores in this area. I mean, I've said that before, and I was just asking because I know a lot of people think like you can't have something like that, but I disagree because you are going to carry different things, especially if you're buying lots and you're selling not refurbished stuff but vintage stuff. You're going to have different things.
Yeah, I mean it's all about location. You have to put yourself in a location that you're seen. You don't want to be in like heavy traffic flow where you can't get in and out for accessibility purposes, but you don't want to be in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
So like you have to find that right spot. But then, like we were talking about earlier, you have to put yourself in a business sense to be able to evolve as the business evolves. While toys you would like to think is always going to be around, what happens when it's not? What are you going to evolve it to? You have to think about the next thing, and that is where the separation would come from when it got to that point. I don't know what that separation is yet, obviously, but that is always something now. Learning from what I did the first time to correct if it ever were to happen again.
No, and that's good that you have experience in running. Again, it was different. You said it was a video game store, but it is different. And I would assume being able to ship out of an actual store is way easier than your house. And having two different, Ted ships some stuff, you ship some of the other stuff.
Yes, sometimes it gets tough because, like I said, you'll get an order where, I have it's 5 things. I have 3 of them, and he has 2. So
Yeah.
now it's okay. Well, what do? Do you just eat the shipping and ship them both separately? Do you find a
How
day to
How
meet?
far away do you guys live?
Like 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, it's not far, but it's also not
It's not
intuitive.
far, but it's far enough.
Yeah,
Where
because you'd have to know, hey, all right, I'm going to run some of this stuff over. There's 10 orders. I'm going to run these things over, and then I'm going to grab these things from you.
Yeah.
Then if you
And I mean-
forget one, then
yeah, and we also both work we both work jobs on
There's
top
that
of
too.
this. So like if he's working in the morning and I work at night, now you really got a very small window to make a delivery and still meet our shipping on business day guarantee, which we do. We figured out. It just sucks.
uh,
Better than White Castle, I guess.
but no, and that's interesting. I know you guys have talked about it and something you guys want to do, and yeah, I think it'd be great for you guys, especially when PowerCon comes. Then you can, then you can try and even get people to shoot on down there, during the show rather than taking stuff to PowerCon.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's another one. Yeah, I mean, we wanted to get crazy on that first PowerCon. It was our first like major show. We did a local show just to kind of like prepare ourselves on what things to come. I'm like, Ted, let's do something that no one else does at a convention. I'm like, let's ship their stuff. Because you got people flying from across the United States. Let's ship their stuff. He's like, that's a great idea. We had some people do it. Some people were cool about it. Others were like, I brought this carry-on bag specifically. And, well, you do you.
All right. Well, we're offering to do something for you, so
Right. But it's like I said, it's things like that. Name me another show you've ever been to where someone offered to ship you your stuff, and it didn't have to be it didn't have to be our stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was real interesting. You guys were real nice about that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you live in Georgia, you've got this big box of crap. We'll ship it for you. You just pay the shipping. You pay us the shipping, we'll ship it for you.
Nah.
You don't have to worry about it. It'll probably get there about the same time you do.
So John is asking, what's your best-selling brand?
I was saving that for the end of the year, but right now, best-selling brand that we have currently, it's a good one. It might still have to be. I mean, I don't know. It might still be some of the G.I. Joe stuff. I mean, Valorverse always does well for us when we have it. So, I mean, that would be up there in that brand list of things. 4 Horsemen when it's hot, not so much when it's not. AWOC is probably not top 5, but I think those are pretty much like the 1, 2, 3: Valorverse, G.I. Joe, AWOC.
So,
without digging in through all the numbers, but
yeah,
things that I have to pack the most is usually those.
Sarge, I'll talk to you about that one. I'm gonna have a completely different feeling on that. I'll tell you that much.
Ed, we're not talking about NECA right now. I spoke my piece on Sunday, but I guess there's good news. They are shipping. They officially are shipping things. So I will have an email going out tomorrow, letting you, the masses who have bought NECA, know what NECA's coming.
Do you follow Mad Hatter by any chance?
Yeah.
Did you see his new one with the? He did the song. It was a song based on Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
and NECA. Oh my god!
Actually, someone sent it to me. I didn't see it on his page specifically, but someone sent it.
Oh
from
my
his
god, dude, he's so good because he does these. Because that's what he does. I
Yeah.
believe that's his real job. I think he produces music or something.
Mhm.
But oh my god, that new one, NECA, like the next email NECA goes to send out, they just shouldn't. just don't sell it.
Yeah, I mean, Sarge. I mean, NECA. When we have NECA, yes, and we get our Krampus next week. Finally. Oh my god.
It seemed like
Krampus, yeah.
it seemed like for a while, NECA seems to be they kind of go back and forth. It seems like they do something with Target for their geek out, but they also seem to normally send stuff to, at least they were, that they sent stuff to the shops and online retailers first, which I think is how it should be.
Oh yeah. If it's not exclusive to Target, and now in certain things, Walmart, we were getting.
Best Buy was getting stuff.
Well, they are now. Like
Yeah.
they officially put pen to paper on some exclusive things.
Okay.
But for the majority of stuff, we would get a lot of NECA stuff way before. Well,
Yep.
even before like BBTS would get it.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like when like gargoyle, like if to answer that question specifically now that's like sitting on my head, NECA's gargoyles was our probably best selling line of 2024. Like we couldn't keep it in. Like any character from that line. Lexington was probably the quickest selling one. Which I think we're finally getting that restocked next week. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, like we would get it in, and people were like, "Oh my god!" I was looking all over for Targets, and like, "Yeah, no, I'm sitting on it right now." But then I love the side part of it is like, "Oh, I'm going to wait till Target so I can use my 5% off."
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's great. You can wait, or I can give it to you right now.
And that is, and again, I don't understand. I know people are gonna go, really? I don't understand the impatience of people, and I know people are they roll their eyes at me. I do reviews, and that is what grows my brand, is to get them early. So I will order them from other places, and I'll pay a little more at times so I can get it early.
Mm-hmm.
And I know because John will yell at me about it. But that's just one of those unfortunate things where it's like, I'm watching 5 different places. Now, I won't ship from overseas anymore to get stuff, just to get the reviews out, because I feel like the brand is at a point where people are waiting for my reviews, whether or not the figures are out or not.
Mm-hmm.
I can go look at that Storm Shadow, how everyone had Storm Shadow, even non-reviewers had Storm Shadow well before I did, and it did really well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand why people are in such a hurry at times, rather than just wait it out.
I mean, that's our feel. We hate holding on to your money. I don't want to hold on to your money. I want you to have your stuff. And I think that's where a lot of it comes from is, if I'm paying for it, I want to be able to get it. I want it. I mean, my thought is I want it now. I don't want to wait unless I know I have to wait. Which is when we made the initial website, there wasn't an option for putting a percentage down for pre-order. It was all or bust. And then I went with the idea like, hey, well, let's put a percentage down, because not everyone, people live paycheck to paycheck. It's easy to put down, $1, $3, $5, $10 than it is to put up, the electric bill for the month for this toy that's not coming out for 6 months. I get that, but everyone's financials are different, and we want to treat everyone their financial differences as equal. So that's why we give you options.
All right, so Eric Draven says, and NECA could be nicer. That could just be me. I agree. And NECA's emails have been I'm still trying to figure out this last part of it.
Find out my girlfriend's mom is pregnant, so It's like huh. Feel like there's a story here, Eric.
I'm trying to figure out if this is a joke or if are we missing the punchline or did you write it wrong?
Yes. Eric, let's dive a little further on that, shall
No,
we? You know,
No,
let's
maybe I'll push my next guest to later on and just have you on to talk about this.
right. It's all good.
I
Yeah.
want to know this one now.
Yeah. Anytime you need me to stop in as a guest host, I got you, man. I'm here. Thursdays are great nights for me.
Oh man, but
I want Matthew Matton's thing about Stone Cold and Macbeth.
oh,
Good luck. It ain't coming. They're not doing it. They pretty much already said it's not happening.
did they say they're done? Have they said have they in a roundabout way said they're done with gargoyles?
They've said it in such a way where it protects them from saying that they didn't say it. But if you read between the cracks of what they said, that's what they said.
Why?
No.
I mean, I know they're all sitting now, but that's what happens when you overproduce stuff.
I mean, I would look at the success of all the stuff that they've come out with. I mean, Lexington alone was their quickest seller. They sold out so fast that they had to produce more. Like everything else is still readily available. You know,
Yeah.
I think the Armored Xantos was probably the second quickest seller for them.
What about Bronx? You can't find Bronx anymore.
Well,
Can you?
you probably could, but not as heavy. But like
NECA seems to do something, then they stop, and then 3 years later, here we come again.
I also believe that there was talk of them rebooting Gargoyles, which was why they were holding on to the potential of putting them out. And I believe that got nixed also. So I think that's why they're like, well, they don't want to do it. Or they will, they're just going to drag their feet doing it.
I don't understand because they, first they like those gargoyles, all of a sudden, like one's popping out and you're like, wait a minute, whoa, wait. This one, like you showed like 4 other ones off. How is this one coming out?
Yeah.
And then last year, the only one that came out was Bronx, right? Was it Bronx? And
last year?
Well, Bronx.
I'm trying to remember what all came out.
The Detective Bronx.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, Detective Bronx.
But I got him at Target, and I know Ted had messaged me and said, "Hey, we got him in." I'm like, "I've had him for like 6 months." He was like,
well, yeah. I mean, that was part because it was part of the Target Haulathon.
But that was the only figure I think that came out this year from Gargoyles, and they showed off those other 3 figures at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah. What,
2 years ago, or was it New York Comic-Con?
San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Armored Xantos was on part of that also. It was earlier in the year. The red armored version.
I thought he came out at the end of last year.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Time
eludes me at this point.
I don't know. I mean, I wrote down everything when I was trying to figure out my list for my top 10, and I don't remember seeing it, but I may have wrote it and crossed it off right away because I didn't find it to be one of my top 10.
Actually, no, that was 2023 because that was 2023.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was just going through. I was talking to Ted on the phone about the last thing that we got from NECA before they went through their whole debacle.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Those poor guys.
Poor guys.
Well, it's 12. I know you're not feeling well, and I actually have to work in the morning. I have my Christmas party. Tell everyone where they can find you.
Well, you can find me mainly at Hello Dope Toys on all the socials. I mean, I do have my own personal Instagram and things of that nature. I'm rarely on it. You can message me there, and I probably won't read it until 3 weeks later when I notice that someone sent a message. you can email me at hellodopetoys@gmail.com because that's where we answer all your questions. Other than that, hey, we do a show every single Sunday at Hello Dope Toys on YouTube, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come hang out with me and Ted Darklaw, where we should talk about toys, but do we talk about toys?
You
Guess you'll
do.
find out.
You do. At times.
At times.
Sometimes it becomes a life lesson.
Oh, I got tons of those.
Don't we all? Don't we all? Well, is there anything else you want to say, or?
No, I mean, no, thank you for putting someone with talent, unlike that Ted Darklaw guy, onto your show here. It was well overdue. So it was a pleasure. Hope.
So I wanted to have you on earlier, but I thought I'm like, well, I just had Ted on, so I didn't want to have someone on right away, because you guys don't have a similar story, but of course you're going to talk about, how the dope. We were going to get into that, and then you just start filling things out. And I know you work a lot. I know you have these strange hours, and so
yeah, I'm usually free almost every Thursday night.
Yeah.
So
I like trying to. Let me just explain. I have to fill out, and I start contacting people months in advance. I like to contact some people that I may not have a huge that we talk to or see them a lot, because I know they might be harder to get in. Where there's certain people I know will be easy or easier to get in because they're used to doing YouTube or any type of social media. So,
right.
But I was glad to have you on finally.
Man.
Again, you and I, we chat. You send me out stuff. I didn't even ask you, but you quickly realized and said I should send him links so he can, and then I have to go in and edit it. And I did explain that to you guys, of all the, again, I don't know how much. John, I'm gonna have Dion before you. I'm gonna have both of them on. I can't believe John's up at this time. Usually he's asleep.
Someone special like myself. You bring out the good people.
But I don't even know what I was saying.
No, you're talking about the links. I mean, those.
Oh yeah.
If I'm at home, it's easier for me to send you those abbreviated links.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I am on the go, making listings as I'm at work or as I'm doing something that's not in this chair in this computer. So some things just gets easier to do. Others, I just can't. I try to make life easier for everybody.
And when I do those links, I've had people like, hey, Pulse has this, BBTS has it, and I go, hey, I get nothing from them. Yes, I'm helping you guys out, but at the same time, it's also to help myself out, and for you guys, it's to help you guys out because you guys are friends. So I go back and I edit it. I've mentioned before the whole Amazon thing. Everyone loves Amazon because it's super quick. But let's say you go and you order a G.I. Joe figure, and then at the same time, you're like, I need a new blender and I need a new vacuum. All that stuff adds up as in the commission. And that's what Amazon wants. Yep. I'm waiting for someone to go on there and buy a fucking engine, and then I get a big, huge commission from someone buying an engine. I'm sure there's got to be an engine on there, right?
Oh, I'm sure. Amazon's got everything.
They got everything.
They probably got hookers and blow, too.
We know your original commercial does, and we're gonna play that on our way out. So anyway, Aaron, thank you so much. I had a great time. I hope you feel better. Tell Bethany, not the Bethany that we dealt with at Entertainment Earth. I still can't believe that.
Who are they talking about? It's not you. It's fine. Don't worry.
And then I started getting worried. I'm like, dude, I hope that's not his. I hope that was not really her.
That'd be a very interesting. That'd be a very interesting conflict of interest. Yes, a toy owner is also married to a rep of Entertainment Earth, and
that could have been the reason why she lost her job. Yeah, maybe. But just the fact that the moment I said that name, You guys knew exactly who it was, and Frankie knew exactly who it was.
Mhm.
And it's just, and I bet John knows exactly who Bethany is too, who used to be at Entertainment Earth.
Just conveniently also my wife's name.
Yes, and she just happened to be in, or no, she wasn't in there.
She was next to me.
Yeah, and then I asked on the stream, like the next time you guys were on it. I made some comment about it. And so, but anyway, thank you very much. Tune in this Sunday at 9 p.m. At 9 p.m. right?
Yep, 9 p.m.
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't go to that other place. This is the only toy tube now. And I don't listen. Like, I know you guys brought it up. I haven't watched the other toy tuber, and it's nothing against him. I just you just kind of stop watching it, and it's a lot easier to watch people that you're friends with. Like,
Right.
you know, you have a connection to it, and you know, you feel good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I think we're gonna go review. We're gonna talk about 2024 and maybe indulge you guys in some of the happenings and look to the future of 2025. So should be a good show.
Sounds interesting. Everyone, make sure you head over there. If you haven't given them a subscribe, please do. John says he has no idea who Bethany is. Lucky you.
Right.
She's not there at Entertainment Earth anymore. So anyway, you guys all have a wonderful night, and we will see you on Sunday. Take care.
See ya.
Oh, hey guys, what's going on?
Mossman, what are you doing back here?
Oh, you see, so Skeletor, he had to go to the grocery store. He had to go buy more barbecue Pringle chips. And so he's put me in charge here for a little bit. In charge of y'all. He said, man, Mossman, I have to go to the grocery store, so I need to put you in charge of Snake Mountain. Mwahahahaha.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
that's
Skeletor.
That's Skeletor.
Right. Skeletor said since I was in charge, I could use the credit card and maybe go online and buy some action figures for myself.
Oh, some action figures sound kind of nice. Yes, maybe we can go to Big Beth.
Yeah, Beastman, we don't say that around here. We go to helldopetoys.com. They have the best prices in town, and they ship everything in one business day. One business day, Beastman. That means I buy it, and it comes to my house super fast, and they pack it all real nice. So when I go to do my YouTube reviews for my 5 subscribers, I'll be like, oh, look at this minty fresh package box that I got from helldopetoys.com. So what are we waiting for, y'all? Let's go get that credit card and head on over to helldopetoys.com right now before they run out of all the good stuff.